Breaking for yardage, number 5, Josiah Cote. Clearing the stop is Tanner Smiley, number 12, along with 4, Anthony Henry. 1st and 10. Penalty flag. False start. Offense, number 12. 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down. 1st and 15 for the white and black.
Okay, we are finally back. We had some computer issues with it shutting down. And, yeah, we're back. We're going to give you some live action. You're not going to have a scoreboard right now because we've switched the setup to our phone. But the game is live, and thank you guys for joining us. If you could do us a favor and send out this link over to the other broadcast link, I would love you very much. Once again, my name is Max Agrest, joined alongside Cal Tannahill, and we are finally live back here. So previous to this point in the game, Chabot returned a kickoff for a touchdown, but it came back due to a penalty. And on the other side, the defense for the Vikings came up and they got a big score. And now Chabot, after a turnover on downs for the Vikings, are starting their drive here. A 3-step drop from Faria. And the drop right into the bucket at the 30-yard line as he veers towards the hash marks, and he's in for the touchdown. Got over the top of the safety, Jaden Pizzle-Price, and that is a touchdown for the Gladiators. Wow, if you are a Gladiators fan coming back into this game, that is going to be something special. And there's the speed, the 4.45 speed of Manny Higgins showing up on the go route, and that is the first score of the game, making it 7-6 for the Chabot Gladiators, trailing by 1 pending this extra kick.
Yeah, Chabot did a really good job right there. Zero coverage from DVC, and Manny Higgins shows that 4.45 speed like you were talking about. Beat the cornerback. Great throw by the quarterback. Touchdown.
Setting up for the PAT now is A.J. Mahuras. So he is listed as a defensive back, but he's been handling the kicking duties as he splits the upright and ties this game up 7 apiece here with 10:37 remaining in the first quarter of play. Once again, if you could do me the pleasure of going ahead and then letting everybody know that this is the link for the game so far, I would love you very much. And yeah, we're just going to keep it rocking for right now. We'll see if we can fix things up at the halftime intermission and see if we can get our typical setup going on. But as of right now, this is what we're going to be working with. We'll do a radio style call, so you'll get the scoreboard and you'll get everything needed through the audio. And thank you again for joining us tonight on this very difficult Friday the 13th. Some spookies coming up early in this one, Kyle.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely October with Halloween right around the corner. Add in the Friday the 13th, and you got some weird stuff happening up here in the booth.
I know. Couldn't have been any other day. I'm still happy to be out here, but man, my stress levels are off the board.
At the end of the day, it's Friday night. We got football going on in front of us, and right now a tie game at 7-7.
So it's a forced fumble by Isaiah Nobrega, and then a scoop and score by the Vikings for the touchdown on, or if I'm not mistaken, or was it an interception?
Interception.
That was an interception. Okay, we'll get you laid up in just a moment. Dave Silverstein has the live stats tonight, so we can actually get you upgraded here. So the kick goes over to the deep man for the Vikings, and he veers towards the near sideline, breaks through 2 tackles, lowers the shoulder, stays on his feet. He's finally on the sideline at the 50-yard line. 1 man a beat. Stutter step inside, breaks it down to the 25-yard line. He's brought down at the 21.
Austin Hurst does a great job getting to the outside, actually runs over 2 people who try to put the boom on him on the perimeter over there, gets by the kicker at the end, cuts it inside, just got caught from behind. Great return by the Vikings, getting set up at their own 20-yard line.
Austin Hurts, man, he's been an absolute weapon for the Vikings last year on special teams. He's played some slot receiver for this team this year, but man, he comes up with a massive play, and the big number 21 out of Sacramento, California, Sheldon High Zone, Austin Hurts comes forward for a 50-plus yard return on the play, and the Vikings are set up in the red zone on their 3rd offensive possession of the game. The quarterback for the Vikings is Jerry Johnson. And he'll line up in the shotgun with Sean Davis off his left hip. 2 receivers out to the far-hand side. Johnson takes the head-high snap. He looks towards the near sideline. He's going to run up the middle. Has a lane open at the 15-yard line. Veering towards the near sideline. Gets a block, and he's down inside of the 10-yard line. Got a block over on the edge by Josh Peichel, and the tackle is made by Eric Johnson.
That was a great job by Jerry Johnson right there. Steps up in the pocket. Nobody's open downfield. Sees the room to run that Chabot was giving them and took it, gets his own first down.
First and goal will be set down at the 8-yard line, and a injury timeout on the field will be taken. That's Chris Shackelford, the sophomore defensive back, hitting the field. And fortunately enough for Chabot, he's able to get up under his own power and step out. Play will ensue here. We see some pink on the sideline. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, despite the fact that the NFL and most teams don't really do that anymore. I remember it was a huge thing and something I love, so I'm glad to see some pink still being rocked by both teams tonight.
Absolutely. Always got to support breast cancer and cancer in general.
Support the fight against.
Sorry. Support the fight. You're right. We're not going to support it. Support the fight. Thank you, Matt.
And one thing we will support are the Vikings here as they have the ball. 9:35 counting down, and it's a shovel pass over the top, trying to break away to the edge, but eventually caught up. That was Dermonti Burnell. No, he breaks through one tackle, and then he is taken down just about 3 yards behind us, behind the line of scrimmage. The sophomore out of San Lorenzo, he's had some big plays for the Vikings, a couple really long passes of 70-plus yards for touchdowns, and the Vikings tried to use that speed laterally that time. Unfortunately, just wasn't quite able to get the edge.
Yeah, you could see why he can break the top off the defense right there. Got stopped on the perimeter, cut it back, almost got away, almost looked like Chabot got away with a little horse collar right there at the end, because that was about the only way they could bring him down. But definitely see the explosiveness right there.
10 seconds left on the play clock here. The Vikings need to hurry up and get to the ball as they line up in a two-back set. That's Sean Davis and Gavin Cribb in the backfield. 2 seconds left. Johnson needs to get the snap off, and he won't get it off in time. A penalty on the Vikings will push them back an additional 5 yards, and they'll face second down and goal from, let's call it the 17-yard line.
Slow substitution right there led to the play call getting in late. Unfortunately, Johnson wasn't able to hurry up the count at the line of scrimmage. Causes a delay of game.
So the delay of game just, I mean, this is something we talked about. A young team on for the DVC Vikings. Coach Austin Corrali was talking about just needing to not make those boneheaded mistakes and really just get it going. The Vikings averaging 12.2 penalties per game. And I mean, that's not winning football, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, the play clock's already down at 5 by the time they get out of the huddle.
It's at 3, and I think a timeout will be taken this time. These are the things you cannot do in the Base 6 conference. If you want to win games, if you want to be a contender in this conference, you can't have plays like that. And unfortunately for the Vikings, plays like that continue.
Yeah, getting that play call in right now seems to be difficult between the coaches and Johnson. I don't know where the communication breakdown is, but he's only getting into the huddle with about 10 left, and they're breaking it with about 5 seconds left before a delay of game. And in 2 straight cases, one resulted in a delay of game, and the next they had to burn their first time out of the half.
Yeah, these are little things, and you can see Coach Dave Garcia, hand on the chest, saying, hey, it's on me. Garcia is one of those guys that has been around in the staff. He was the offensive line coach, the associate head coach this year, and he's dealing with a lot of duties. The associate head coach running some of that offensive line alongside Christopher Strotter, and he's also calling the plays. So just a lot on his play, and the Vikings are looking to fine-tune that. So after the penalty, it'll be second down and 17 as Johnson comes out in the shotgun, looking towards his right-hand side, throws across the formation. That's Mikkel Ely dragging a defender into the end zone. It was 17 yards out, and Mikkel Ely takes it all on his first catch of the game. Vikings 13, Chabot 7.
They did a great job right there. They had trips on the near side. They singled out Mikkel out on the left side. Chabot was playing their safeties up towards the line of scrimmage, so he just had one-on-one. What do you want to do? You either want to run that slant or you want to run the fade to the corner. They opted for the slant, and he was able to bring the DB in with them to the end zone.
And that 6'3", 200-pound frame of Ely was able to scoop that ball up perfectly and drag the defender in as the kick is up and good from Zane Hall. And the Vikings, just like that, 14-7 is the lead here with 8:11 in this high-scoring Base 6 opener here at Viking Stadium. We'll take a quick timeout. Be back on the other side for the kickoff. After the touchdown play for the Vikings, they'll come back out and kick it off left to right for the second time. Or pardon me, this might actually be the third time this early evening. Overcast night, but it's cleared up here at night, and they'll be kicking away left to right. Zane Hull steps forward, boots it away, and it'll be fielded down at the 6-yard line, returning it between the hash marks. Now tries to cut it back on the other side of the field, but he's swarmed immediately on the play. That was Tanner Smiley, the safety, coming up to make the tackle on the return man.
The return man, Shackelford, had a big start to the game, have returned that first return all the way to the end zone. Unfortunately, got called back for the illegal wedge block. Second return, unfortunately, he fumbled it. This one, he gets stopped at the 15. DVC is doing a lot better job with their kickoff coverage.
And now they got to do a better job covering over the top. They are one of the top 10 teams in terms of pass defense in the base 6, but man, or in the 3C2A, I should say, but struggling in that last offensive possession. Motioning the slot man across the formation, that's Higgins, and I believe that will be a false start on Chabot.
Full start. Offense. Number 12.
It is a false start, and it goes against Dylan Garcia, the sophomore out of Jefferson High School in Daly City, and that'll push him back 5 yards all the way out to the 10-yard line.
First and 15, Chabot.
Yeah, let's see if Colby Furlaw, the quarterback for Chabot, can keep on his hot streak. He got hurt earlier in the game, took a big hit, which ended in an ejection, threw the nice deep ball in the last possession. See if he can keep that rolling.
Ball is set out of the pistol from the far hash mark. First down and 15. A 3-step drop. Pressure comes, spins out of one, and he's rolling out to his right. Eyes are still downfield. Lofts it over to the original line of scrimmage, and it'll be about a gain of 8 on the play. I believe that was Josiah Cote on the reception. Got to get that contrast. We've had a few early game starts. This is the latest start of the year at 7 p.m. kickoff for the Vikings here. And, I mean, it's firing on offense so far, 14-7. And now let's see what Chabot is able to do after scoring on their last possession. Furia out of the shotgun once more. He hands it off up the middle, and there's no running room whatsoever. The Vikings defense got there, and it was led by Demarie Nelson Wilson. He had a an interception in the last game, and the reserve corner has really come up and done a good job for the Vikings so far. 2 total tackles in that interception last game, and he gets his first tackle of the game, making it 3rd down and 5 now from the 20.
DVC's defensive coordinator really still trusting his corners, even though they let the big shot happen last possession. They brought 0 coverage right there, just man coverage across the board.
Nathan Kinsley checks in for the Vikings defensive line, and pressure comes once again for Furia. He rolls out to his right, throws right at the sticks, avoids one defender, and this ball will be caught right at the line to gain, and that will be it. That was Malachi Matthews on the reception, and Nico Bowler came up from his linebacker position to make the tackle, but unfortunately for the Vikings, a first down for Chabot.
I've been really impressed by Colby at the start of this game. He's been able to improvise in the pocket. He hasn't really run for many yards, but just that mobility inside of the pocket, be able to extend plays, feel where the pressure is coming from. That's what really good quarterbacks do. It's not necessarily how many yards per rush you get. It's just how long can you extend the play and let the receivers get open. And
it's a draw play this time. Plenty of space running up the middle, breaking free. No one's in front of him. Running out to the 40, the 30. One man to beat out to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Into the end zone. A touchdown for Josiah Cote. The running game hasn't been working all year long. -8 on the season, but guess what? It doesn't matter if you can take it all in one play. A rush forward for a touchdown. 70 yards for the TD.
And like we just mentioned, DVC has been challenging Chabot, playing that 0 coverage. The one hard thing about 0 coverage, though, is if that running back breaks through that first line, there is no safety to help and make a tackle on the back end. So once you break that first line, Chabot is able to take it all the way to the house.
Maharris kick is up and good, and we're knotted up at 14 just like that. Man, a hectic start to the game, and what a freaky Friday the 13th for both of these teams. They are not looking like themselves in this early going, and hey, we got a fun one here at Viking Stadium throughout the first, let's call it 9 minutes of play.
Yeah, big plays galore. Everybody seems to be wanting in on the action here at the early start.
Yeah, Cal, you're coming in and sponsoring the stream with Tannahill Home Teams by Compas DRE, number 020143009. But I didn't know you were taking odds on this one as well. I think that's a conflict of interest. You on the stream and calling odds as well. What was the over on this one you had?
You know, I talked to the bookie earlier. He didn't quite have the line in yet. Wasn't able to reach back out, so not sure exactly where that line ended, but hopefully everybody took the over the way this thing started.
28 points already through 9 minutes of play, and we got another kickoff coming the other direction. Elja Mejiras kicking it right to left, and it'll be fielded by up back for the Vikings. And now the big man rumbling, tumbling, bringing it down at the 37-yard line. I believe that was number 41 on the return. That was Siufolu Sale'i, the linebacker, coming up for the return. Man, that throws me back to my playing days here. The very first kickoff return of the season back in, what was that, the 2014 season. We had a 305-pound fullback, Ben, return the ball. He ran down the sideline, lateraled it, and it was brought forward for a gain of about 30-plus. That gave me flashbacks, absolutely. All the Polynesian players and the Polynesian connection here at DVC. It still runs strong 10 years later.
I was probably concussed already.
You're playing baseball over in Arizona at that point, Kyle. So Jerry Johnson once more hands the ball off to Cribb, and Cribb trying to spring free off the left side of that offensive line, only able to get a gain of about 3 on the play. Tackle was made by number 56 and number 33, that was Jamal Keaton, leading the charge from his defensive line position.
One thing to look at this drive is how quick DVC is able to get those play calls in and see if they can ramp up the tempo, get themselves in a rhythm, continue to get big plays. They got helped out by their defense getting that pick 6. Let's see if the offense can keep that thing rolling from the last possession.
And now a 2-back pistol look from the far hash mark on 2nd and 7 from the 41. Fake the stretch. Pressure comes on the backside. Johnson's able to release. Has a man downfield, but unfortunately not able to quite connect with his receiver. That was Deshaun Smith II running the post route perfectly down, but just about half a step shy from the throw of Jerry Johnson.
Yeah, that was a good play concept. Just couldn't connect on the back end, but the shots are open, so keep taking them, especially early on when they're available.
Yeah, the Santa Rosa College transfer in Smith II, unfortunately, hasn't gotten much playing time this year, but trying to make something big happen, and if he can keep running routes like that, he's going to get some more PT.
If you keep getting separation like that, you're always going to find a way back on the field.
Johnson out of the shotgun this time around. Takes the chest high snap, looks, throws the pass over into the flats, and it's brought down at the 45-yard line. Sean Davis came back into the game, and then the tackle was made by Jafar Basher Jr. Unfortunately for the Vikings, though, the ball gets brought to the 45-yard line. Not enough yardage to get the first down, so it's 4th and 3, and the Vikings will have to punt.
Yeah, DVC just got a little unlucky there. The linebacker did a really good job from Chabot getting over there. They had 2 receivers on that far side, both run slants, try to create that rub route. The linebacker was just able to get outside and catch that wheel route from the running back.
Michael Vaccaro not punting today. Instead, Zane Hall takes his job back as the punter for the Vikings, and a timeout will be taken by Chabot. They will burn their first timeout of the game. So 2 timeouts burned apiece in this 14-14 game here throughout just about 10 minutes of play. 4:34 remaining here in the first quarter of play. And we've got 28 points on the board, 14 apiece here on DVC Vikings Live. The punt for a hole here is heels around the 30-yard line. Long snap goes straight into his chest. Pressure comes, but able to get the high winding punt away. This one will be fair caught, and it's brought in at the 20-yard line. Just about a 35-yard punt on the play by Zane Hall. And Furia in this Chabot offense that's really kicked it into gear early in this game. Will come out on the field once again. We talked about this before. They are the last team in the 3C2A in terms of rushing yardage per game, averaging -8 per game. But guess what? They ripped off a 73-yard rush from Josiah Cote in this early going. And they also threw a bomb over to Manny Higgins that was about I believe it was like a 60 or 70-yard pass.
Yeah, well, the only positive when you're the dead last in a statistic is there's only one way to go from there, and that's up. So they were able to get that started here with the long run last possession.
So it'll be a shotgun look. Furia taking the 3-step drop, and he's going to go for the go route once more. This one's heavily contested, outstretched on the far fingertips of the covering defensive back. And now's Adrian Mache with the perfect coverage over the top. First down and 10 goes to second down and 10.
Yeah, Mache did a great job right there. He located the football early, and once he was able to locate the football, he essentially ran the route for the wide receiver and almost was able to track that thing down. The throw is just over everybody's head, but great coverage right there.
Yeah, Furia was a 2-star recruit coming out of St. Vincent de Paul back in 2021, and I'm not sure what the penalty on the play was, but it'll be a 15-yard penalty after the play, and they'll move Chabot all the way up to the 35-yard line. I was talking to Cal and looking at him and unable to really see what was going on, so Cal was talking to our stat crew tonight, trying to get some information.
Seems like nobody's really quite sure where that penalty came from.
Illegal hands to the face was the official call from our spotter to our left here. So just like that, it's first down and 10 from the 35-yard line, and Furia getting some momentum, rolling his direction in this early going. Vikings scored on offense and defense, and both the scores have come from the offensive side of Furia and Cote in this early going for Chabot. Gladiators trying to get their first win of the season, and they're picking up a lot of momentum on offense in this early going. A handoff goes right side. And this time around, nowhere to go as Nico Bowler sniffed that one out perfectly. Join alongside Maake.
It looks like DVC's changed their defense up a little bit right here. It looks like they got 2 safeties high, not going with that cover 0 look like they started the game with after letting up those 2 big plays to start the game.
And Carpenter is the running back in the backfield. I didn't even have him on my roster. He hasn't really played so far this year. Fake the jet sweep motion. They will throw the ball out into the flat over to the slot receiver, who's just tackled immediately after making the catch. Dylan Garcia III was the man on the reception, and then leading the charge for the Vikings was Adrian Mache.
DVC's defense right there flying to the football. May need to be a little cautious right there. Not just sure if Chabot's coaching staff saw, but the receiver who didn't block anybody was wide open down the field. If they have a trick play looking like that, it may be a good
pass,
time.
Right?
Exactly.
But unfortunately for the Gladiators, with 3:12 remaining here in the first quarter of play, it's third down and 14, and Furia has a tall task in front of him. Trips out to the far-hand side. Furia takes the belt-high snap. He looks down the middle of the field once more and just overthrown. It was great coverage on the outside as they tried to get the ball back over to Dylan Garcia III, who made the reception on the last play. But Mache once again was the the defensive back on the coverage. He covered that one out perfectly, and after the penalty gives the first down to Chabot, they unfortunately aren't able to get much going, and they'll have to punt the ball away from the 31.
Yeah, DVC right there brought the corner blitz off the blind side. The running back for Chabot did a great job picking it up, giving the quarterback a little extra time. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to hit.
Head high snap, and this won't be booted away by Hocketer. It was a low ball that bounces, almost hits a DVC player, but then takes a Chabot bounce, and the ball, a high punt going about 4 seconds on the play, and it's fielded down at the, let's call it the 37.
DVC got lucky. That fire call got in there just at the right time because there was somebody who was under the ball right about where the ball landed who was able to get out of the way, avoid the fumble.
Yeah, and I believe that was actually Ciale, the guy who made the big return, the linebacker. Fortunately, was able to get out the way. And now the Vikings offense, after having to punt it last time around, will come back on the field, and let's see what Jerry Johnson is able to do.
Yeah, the linebackers are getting a lot of action out here on special teams tonight. Had the nice little return to start, was able to get the fire call out. So, gotta love when linebackers have the football.
So, Manny Higgins took the ball 50-plus yards. Furia is 5 for 8, 75 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception on the day. On the other side of the ball, Jerry Johnson 3 for 5, 12 yards, but he does have that touchdown to Mikel Ely. So one big negative yardage play put him behind the chains, but able to get some positive yardage passing so far. And now Johnson out of the shotgun once more from the near hash mark, working left to right. Will take the snap with 2:50 on the clock. A quick pass over to the near hand side, working the sideline. That's Brian Pierce Jr. as Pierce Jr. fights forward just past the 45-yard line. He's brought down to the 46. That was brought down by Andreas Viernes, the linebacker.
Brian Pierce did a really good job getting that little bubble screen pass and getting upfield quick because he's in the slot, he's quick. They had a middle linebacker who was trying to get over there in time, and he just was able to use that quickness to get, the 8-9 yards on first down.
Pierce, the bounce back from UC Davis, a top-tier program in the FCS regards, and the handoff goes over to Gavin Cribb. And on 2nd down and 1, Cribb is able to move the chains after a gain of 4, bringing the ball out to midfield.
I like that start for DVC, too, to start this possession. Quick pass, get the ball out of the quarterback's hand, get him into a little rhythm, pick up the first down right away. Don't, try to get cute and fancy and throw a deep ball. Let it get to 3rd and 1.5 pressure. Just keep the chains rolling, stay in the offense, stay on script, and, try to mount a drive down the field.
And now a tight bunch off the far-hand side from the near hash mark. Johnson out of the shotgun once more. Gets the chest eye snap. Johnson feels the pressure. He's going to roll out to his right. Stays lateral and throws the ball out to the 40-yard line. Elijah Alonso able to get the reception and the 10-yard gain before being tackled by Douglas Turner Jr. And Elijah Alonso is one of my favorite players after he only actually gets 9 yards on the reception, so it'll be 2nd down and 1. But Alonso last year played some tight end, played some hybrid slot for the Vikings, and he's going to be one of those guys that I expect to see a lot of coming into this base 6 section of the year.
Yeah, and you can see where that experience pays off right there. Play kind of broke down. He was able to find a soft spot in the zone, get open, big target for the quarterback, and get a good first down gain.
Pierce Jr. goes around the left-hand side, and he gets the swing pass, gets the first down, continues to spin through 1 tackle before being brought down after a gain of 4. The ball spotted down at the 36-yard line, or 37, as Yusuf Benchura, the defensive back, makes the tackle. The leading tackler for this Gladiators team. He plays, he's listed as a defensive back, but he's more of that hybrid Jamal Adams type of role. He plays outside linebacker, he plays some safety, he plays some defensive back, basically plays wherever they need him to go.
Yeah, sometimes it's positionless football at its best, and you just need playmakers to go make plays, and that's what he does for this defense.
Flip the sides as the bunch comes to the near-hand side now, and Johnson throws it, lofting it over the top, and it went straight through the hands of Austin Hurts. Good coverage on the backside by Douglas Turner Jr., but Hurts and Johnson unable to get on the same page that pass attempt.
Yeah, Hurts did a really good job running the wheel route, had a little bit of separation, just didn't get his head around quite in time and wasn't able to locate the ball in time. It was actually a pretty decent throw by Johnson, just the timing was a little bit off.
Yeah, it was a little interesting. You see, he had a little bit of a hitch in his pass. It looked like he was going to throw it off his back foot, didn't think he had enough power, so he kind of jumped off that back foot and tried to loft it over. So with 20.8 seconds remaining here in this first quarter, we've got a game knotted up at 14 apiece, and Johnson looking to try to make more happen. Johnson throws the deep route once more, and Elijah Alonso turned his back to the ball. He had coverage against Yusuf Benchura, but it just, I think, a little bit of a bump, a little bit of grind with the defensive back, and just unable to really locate that ball properly.
Yeah, Chabot brought the blitz right there. Cover 0 across the board, just playing straight man, try to hit the vert down the seam, just not able to connect. Yeah, I think he thought he was going to, run a little bit more of a skinny post, and the slot receiver just straightened it out. Just a little bit of a miscommunication right there. And
a late substitution underneath 10 seconds once more as Elijah Alonso replaces Damani Burrell. So 4 seconds left. Johnson needs to get the ball off once again. Finally able to do so with 1 second left on the clock. Throws it across the middle of the formation. It's intercepted at the 23-yard line. High stepping down the far sideline, Alvarez to the 40. And an interception was made by Eric Johnson, the safety. He sat down in that pocket perfectly, and it just looked like Jerry didn't see him. Threw it right to the defensive back, and that is the first turnover of the game for the Vikings there.
Yeah, like you said, I just don't think he saw him. I think DVC got away with an illegal formation, though, with that late substitution because it happened after they broke the huddle. I thought it was going to be a positive for them getting away with something. Look,
Yeah, but unfortunately,
hindsight's
no call there.
2020. Chabot gets lucky on the missed call, able to get the pick and, flip momentum right here.
So with 3 seconds remaining here in this hectic first quarter of play here on Friday the 13th, we've got a 14-all game with 3 seconds remaining, and let's see what Furia has to offer. Motions his wide receiver across the formation once more, and Furia is going to take a 3-step drop back, throwing it over to his wide receiver underneath the formation. Backpedaling over at the 47-yard line before finally being brought down by the DVC Vikings scrum, and that was Carpenter on the reception. The running backs get a lot of play here in this in the Chabot Gladiator offense, and that'll take us to the end of the first quarter of play. So once again, we'll try to get our regular stream up and going once more, having some technical issues here, but for right now, we got a stream up and running, and we'll try to get you all the production quality and everything you love with the DVC Viking Sports Network back on the other side of the half. But for now, 14-all, 15 minutes left on the clock, and we've got a fresh second quarter coming back your way on DVC Vikings Live. Second quarter action just about to get going here. Vikings throw an interception on the last offensive play, and then one play later it was a check down over to the running back Carpenter. Jerry Johnson's pass was intercepted by Eric Johnson for a 22-yard gain, and the ball spotted down after the catch from the running back just inside of the Chabot side of the field. A handoff this time will be bounced to the left-hand side, and Carpenter fights through one tackle. He was caught just about the 49-yard line of the Vikings and got a couple of extra yards of yak after the play, and now be third down and short from the 47 of the Vikings. Fury hurting to line, another handoff. Left-hand side's open, breaks free out to the 40, and then tugged down by the back of his jersey by a Vikings player as Carpenter springs forward for a gain of 13 on the play.
This run game has done a really good job showing up tonight. For a team that averages negative rushing yards a game, they were able to get that big play in the first quarter, and once you get that first play, start feeling good, that offensive line starts blocking a little better, the holes start getting a little bigger, the push is a little stronger, and the running backs are able to take advantage of it.
Shotgun look for Furia once more. He rolls out to his right-hand side. Eyes are down the field, and he throws it off the fingertips of his intended receiver. That was Keir Stewart, the sophomore out of Encinal High School.
Second and 10.
Yeah, a little sprint out right, try to hit the 5-yard out route. Just a little low and a little out in front of him, made it a really hard catch. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to bring it in.
Carpenter, the running back out of Berkeley, stays in the game as well. And so after the long pass from Josiah Cote, Carpenter's been getting the brunt of the carries here. Second down and 10 from the 37-yard line of the Vikings. Chabot has been looking great on offense throughout this early going. Pressure comes, and man, Furia was decimated by a couple different Vikings players, and it was led by Anthony Henry, coming off, blitzing off his defensive back position. And Henry, the nickel safety, comes up for a huge play for the Vikings, pushing Chabot all the way back to the Vikings 44.
Yeah, I think DVC's found something they liked on the defensive end or defensive side of the football. They started the game off playing cover 0, but blitzing the linebackers. They've switched to blitzing the nickel back and the corner off a side, and Chabot hasn't really been able to adjust and pick that up. They've done it off the blind side each time, and it's almost gotten home. It got home this last time. It almost got home the first time.
Defense chant from the crowd. And it'll be a draw up the left-hand side. That's Carpenter once more. He jump cuts at the 42, and he's brought down at the 40. Marcel Anderson, the cornerback, coming up for the tackle, the former Chabot player himself. So, he's got some bad blood coming into this game. And now, 4th down and just about 3 to go from the 40-yard line of the Vikings, and the punt team is actually coming out. I thought Chabot might go a little aggressive here, but instead they send out Ian Hawkiner. And let's see if maybe it's a fake. You got to remember, Hawkiner is actually listed as a wide receiver, but having to take over those punting duties after Omeki's injury early on in the game, or early on in the season, I should say. So the snap is off, and it will be a high winding punt. Another fire call for the Vikings as the ball takes a bounce. A Chabot bounce, tripling all the way down before taking a shot down to the 1. Picked up, and the Vikings are going to be dug way deep inside of their own side of the field from the shadow of their end zone. They are pinned down by a 3.76 second punt, and what a bounce on that ball.
Really fortunate bounce for Chabot. The DVC return man actually did a really good job deking everybody out on the field. When the ball went up, he actually ran to the near side of the field while the ball was over all the way on the far side of the field. Nobody on the punt team knew exactly where it was. Unfortunately for DVC, that ball just checked up right at the 1-yard line. Great punt, and it's going to be a long field to go for DVC if they want to put points on the board.
1.5-yard line is where the ball is spotted. And now Jerry Johnson, trying to overcome that last turnover, comes out in a 2-back look. Standing in his own end zone, fires away the deep ball, diving all the way out, trying to get the reception was Brian Pierce Jr. Full effort from him, and the coverage was by Douglas Turner Jr. alongside Chris Strickland.
Yeah, it's hard for DVC. Backed up all the way back here. They did a really good job last drive, starting it off with quick passes to the slot receiver, some screen passes. It's a little more riskier when you're this backed up to your own end zone. You don't want to get a safety or a backwards pass fumble that goes into the end zone or something like that. And
yeah, it just hasn't been there. And now a fake a handoff and a pitch over the left-hand side. Gets out of his own end zone. Out to the 4-yard line. That was Joseph Miner, the second back in the set for the Vikings. The ball was brought out to just about the, let's call it the 4-yard line. And now the Vikings will face a 3rd down and 9.
And this is where we kind of talked about pregame for Johnson. Can he stay consistent throughout the game? He started off really good, able to be mobile in the pocket, ran for a couple times for first downs, had a nice little stretch of about 3 to 5 completions in a row. He's about 0 for the last 4 right here with the pick. Let's see if he can turn it around and get a hot streak going again.
And now another 2-back set, and it was actually Jalen Melancon, the running back in for the Vikings. So Johnson throwing a quick slant. That's Mikel Ely. Mikel Ely dragging 2 different defensive backs forward as he brings the ball to the 15-yard line. Eric Johnson was one of the defensive backs to make the stop. But Mikel Ely, we talked about it before, Mr. Magic on 3rd and 4th down, and he comes up with a huge reception for the Vikings here in the second quarter play, able to extend the drive.
Yeah, when you got somebody 6'3", 200 on the outside who can run like that, on a smaller cornerback, those slots, he's just botting them out like he's blocking out in basketball right now.
And a handoff goes left-hand side this time around. And that's a carry by Joseph Miner. Only brought forward for a gain of 3 on the play before being tackled down by Alejandro Tovar, one of the captains for the Chabot team.
Yeah, that cornerback wide receiver matchup between Turner and Ely out there on the outside is starting to get chippy. I think Turner's getting a little frustrated because he's let up a couple deep plays, has let up the slant all game. Got a little chippy there at the end of the run, a little after the whistle. Refs let it go to start, but something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, Mikel Ely doesn't back down. That's what I've seen from the last couple of years here. Another 2-back pistol look now. Rolling out to the right, plenty of time to throw, back across the formation, and Damani Burrell just wasn't able to get his hands underneath that ball. That ball was perfectly placed right off the chest pads. I mean, he hit between the 1 and the 8, but just unable to bring it in, so now it's 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, that was a great play call right there. Sprint right, had everything flowing to the far side of the field. They brought the slot receiver from the far side, ran him all the way across the flow of traffic. Quarterback did a really good job setting his feet, just wasn't able to connect at the end. But those are the type of plays that DVC is going to need to convert if they want to keep the chains rolling and start getting that momentum back in the offense that like they had in the first quarter.
Shotgun spread for the near hash mark for Jerry Johnson once more. Head high snap, handles well. Flag comes in early. Jerry rolling out to his right-hand side. Eyes are still down the field, and he throws at the last possible second. And the fastball's brought in at the 31-yard line. Wow, what a catch by Elijah Alonso. He came up and just handled that heat from the arm of Johnson.
That was Ely again.
It was either 7 or it was 9, so it was Ely or it was Alonso. And likely going to be a penalty against the Vikings here, so push them back. So Corrali's talking, and it'll actually be a decline. I think it was offsides on Chabot instead. So it will be a first down. The free play turns into a first down anyways. And just, I mean, he talked about wanting to prove his arm strength after injuring his shoulder a couple seasons back, and Johnson really put a lot on that ball. Glad to see the receiver able to bring it in. Yeah, Mikel Ely for a 9-yard gain on 3rd down and 8, and Mr. Third Down does it once more, and now it's 1st down and 10 from the 33. Fake the stretch, and Johnson will be on the quarterback keeper, switches the ball to the left-hand side, and he slides down at the 35 before being taken down by Yusuf Barchora.
Yeah, the D end right there, Marlon Brown for Chabot, did a really good job creating a seal on the outside, forcing him to try to bring it back to the inside. Johnson was still trying to get it to the outside, and by the time you take that long to try to stretch a play out, you're going to have support coming in behind you, and that's exactly what Chabot's defense did.
Talking to offensive line coach Christopher Strada before the game, he was just talking about needing to get creative with the play calling in terms of the running game to get some guys open, and that's exactly what they're doing so far with these two-back looks. Johnson out of the shotgun once more, throws the out route over to number 18, that is Damani Burrell, and Burrell, after about a gain of 4 on the play, took a hard hit by Justice Breston. Breston, the safety out of Campbell High School in Georgia. So one of those big boys from the south came up and laid a big hit. Burrell able to run off on his own power, though, shaking off that hard hit.
Yeah, that was a big hit right there by the defender. But DVC able to stick to the script. You know, keep moving, positive plays, don't have incompletions, don't get stuffed on the run. They have a 3rd down and manageable right here at about 3rd and 5 going into shotgun.
And out of the shotgun, trips. A throw to the near-hand side, lofted over the top, and that ball's just thrown out of bounds. Mikel Ely was the intended receiver on the play. Douglas Turner Jr. was the man in coverage as he's chirping over at Mikel Ely at the end of the play, but the ball just had nowhere to go. No spot for that ball for Jerry Johnson as he throws the ball away. And now it'll be 4th down and 5 from the 38, and they'll have to punt this ball away.
DVC tried to get Ely open right there by bringing the far slot receiver in motion, tried to set it up to look like they were going to set it up for the screen pass and then have Ely run on, you know, a 9 route, but the cornerback did a really good job, didn't get fooled, didn't get over aggressive, and played really good defense.
Now Zane Hall will have to boot it away. Heels around the 24-yard line, able to get away at the last possible second. The high line drive punt will be fielded down at the 21-yard line. A good job flipping the sides of the field after the 4-second punt. Flips the side for the Vikings. So after a hot start to the game, 14 points on the board on each side. We've got no points in the second quarter throughout or with about 8:15 remaining here in the second quarter. Now Chabot will go back on offense.
DVC was able to at least have a positive drive if you don't score points, if there's ever such a thing. They were backed up on their own goal line. They were able to flip the field position, get Chabot starting from their own 20-yard line. A quick 3 and out from your old goal line can lead to really big field possession problems, and DVC was able to really get away with that.
And Furia alongside Cote come out of the field. The pressure comes, but Furia feels it, rolls out to his left, and then throws it high at the last possible second. Here's Stewart, the intended receiver on the play. 2nd down and 10 after the incompletion.
Yeah, this is a big possession right here for DVC's defense. The game's kind of come slowly to a halt here after the fireworks in the first quarter. If their defense is able to win, get a quick 3 and out, able to give the offense a good starting field position, it could be big.
And DVC lining up in a 3-man front here. 3 defensive linemen down and a shotgun handoff over to the left side. That goes over to Cote. Cote, last time he touched the ball, went forward for a 70-plus yard rush. This time, only 1. Marcus Nunez with the tackle for the Vikings. One of the leading tacklers. He leads the team with 31 tackles coming into the game.
DVC looks like they might be going to cover 0 right here. Look out for the blitz on the blind side like they've been doing. Yep, they're bringing the nickels.
Vikings bringing pressure. We've seen this for so many years going forward. Travis Rossetti handling the defensive duties for the Vikings this season. And he does something similar to what you'd see from Coach Dar. Belt high snap. The ball's thrown up towards the near sideline. And it's off the shoulder pads and brought forward and then fumbled. No, Dylan Garcia, they'll call it a incomplete pass. Vikings went cover 0. Dylan Garcia bobbled that ball as he threw it over the top of Marcel Anderson. And fortunately for him, I thought maybe he brought in the ball, made an athletic move, and that would have been a fumble. But instead, an incomplete pass. The Vikings bring the pressure. The ball came off in time, but unable to complete it. And now the punter comes out once more. That's Ian Hockender. Last time he punted away, it went all the way down to the 1.5-yard line. I don't expect anything of the sort this time around. Pierce is deep. It's a end over end punt. That'll be fair caught at the 39-yard line. And no flag on the play. It looked like one of the upbacks, or one of the gunners rather, that was Maurice Smith Jr. for Chabot, got right into that halo space of Brian Pierce Jr., but no flag, so no harm, no foul, and the Vikings will get the ball all the way spotted down at the 38-yard line after the punt.
Yeah, that halo space is getting smaller and smaller after that one. I thought he might have even made contact with him, to be honest, a lot when we saw it live. But DVC's defense, this is where the team game comes in. The offense did a really good job getting themselves out from their own shadows of their goal line last possession. Defense comes up with a good stop. Now they start at their own 35.
A pitch to the near side. And a cut forward after a gain of just about 4, getting it past the 40, out to the 41-yard line. Eric Johnson makes the tackle for the Gladiators, and it's it's 2nd down and 7 now. The last punt by Hockender was a 40-yard punt, by the way. And it's a 2-yard reception for Jalen Melancon.
Yeah, on this side of the field, DVC is really like going trips right and having the trip side on,
the short side.
On the long side of the field and be able to take advantage of it.
And another handoff this time, springing free before eventually being brought down. It looked like he had some space in front of him, but a defender got caught up right in the legs. That was Andreas Viernes, the linebacker. And the Vikings are in an okay position. I mean, it's 3rd down and just about 5 here after a couple quick hitters to the running backs.
Again, 3rd and manageable, though.
Yeah, Melancon.
Look to see if DVC puts them in trips again and singles out Ely on one of the sides, either near side or far side, and gives them that slant route that's been so successful today. They're sending them out. It does not look like it's going to be trips. They got the tight end in. It's a 3-by-1 right here.
And Peichel lining up on the left-hand side from his up-back position. Johnson out of the pistol. He'll take a 3-step drop. Johnson rolls out to his right, avoids the defender. Eyes are downfield, and he's going to run for it. Space down the far sideline, and he steps out of bounds at the 49-yard line, getting enough yardage for the 1st down. So they'll eventually, they will spot him down at the 49-yard line of the Vikings. Needed 5, got 6, and just a heads-up play from the sophomore quarterback out of Pittsburgh High to move the chains.
Yeah, I really like Johnson, not necessarily on the design runs. Chabot's done a really good job
and
just
really
extending
opening the opportunities. Yeah,
because Chabot isn't playing with a spy. They're only rushing 4 majority of the time. So once he breaks it to the outside, there's nobody really with eyes on him.
Back off the left-hand side, they'll rotate him right. And Johnson takes the pistol snap once more. A handoff and a bounce outside. Breaks through 1 tackle. Trying to find the edge still. Spins out of another tackle. And a hard-fought gain for Melancon. He actually loses a yard as a flag comes in at the end of the play as well. And that was just a hard job trying to get as much yardage as possible. Drop for a loss of 1.
Yeah, let's see what this flag's about.
Holding on the offense. And that'll move the ball back We heard number 1 on the field, but there's no one on the roster for the Vikings. So an unnamed man will move the chains back as the Vikings move all the way back to the 39-yard line. It's Friday the 13th. We got some ghosts holding on the field or something.
Yeah, not sure where that hold was on the tight end right there.
And now the same look for the Vikings as they move from the near side of the field. From the near hash mark 39, they'll face a first down and 20. Johnson throwing near side, and that's brought in just about at midfield. A catch made by Deshaun Smith II. Deshaun Smith II, we've seen him a couple of different times. He had the opportunity to get the go route earlier, and it's good to see him get involved early on, getting a gain of 12 on the play.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed about Johnson, though, is when he has time in the pocket and able to sit on that back foot, when he wants to put some zip on it, it's getting there quick. That one, again, on the out route, good coverage by the defender. Johnson just really good velocity and put it in a really good spot for the receiver right there.
Played baseball in high school, and we've seen the quick arm a couple different times. And now a pass gets tipped, and it's brought in for a second interception of the day. The tip drill was ran, and that was number 9, Justice Breston. We called his name last time out. The ball went off the fingertips of the Vikings defender, tipped up into the air, and it looked like a 50-50 ball between the other Vikings wide receiver, but instead it was Breston with the INT.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a miscommunication or what, but if it wasn't, it was an interesting route concept. Both of the receivers on the far side ran out routes. One ran about a 5-yard out, the other about a 7-yard out, and it looked like it was a throw to the deeper out, but the slot receiver tried to catch it, went off his fingertips, and the defender was able to end up with it.
So now a quick change of possession brings Furia back on the field. They had to punt last time out, and now with 4:27 remaining here in the second quarter of play, a flag will come in, likely a false start on Chabot.
Yeah, the left tackle moved a little bit early there. DVC's defense going to try to take advantage of this. 1st and 15. 4:26 left in the first half, so Chabot's got a good amount of time to be able to take their time, still be able to run the football if they want, which they've been able to do this game.
And now it'll be first down and 15, like you said, from the 42. A 3-step drop, eyes down the field, pressure comes late, spinning, trying to get through one tackle, but the defensive line for the Vikings able to get there. Christian Evans, the 6'3", defensive lineman, able to lead the charge, and that's the second sack of the day for the Vikings defense.
And when you know the offense wants to start pushing the ball down the field because they only got 4 minutes left in the first half, you get that false start on the first play, brings it back to 1st and 15. Those DNs can pin their ears back and really get after the quarterback and not worry so much about the run.
So now 2nd down and 20 after the sack with under 4 minutes to play here. And the shutout second quarter after the early going. A screen pass is set up to the near-hand side, but a miscommunication between the running back Carpenter and the quarterback Furia leads to a 3rd down and long.
So after the penalty and the sack on 2nd down, scoreboard says, oh, we got it back. 3rd and 19 right here. If you're DVC, you got to keep everything in front of you. Looks like they're playing 2 safeties high right here. Probably man coverage across the board, and just if they complete it, it's okay. Just make sure you make that tackle.
So 3rd down and 19. The pressure comes. It's a drop-off pass underneath, and a nice form tackle made by the Vikings. That was Nico Bowler from his linebacker position, getting a tackle for loss on the play as they tried to get the quick hitter back over to Manny Higgins, but the Vikings defense stops the Chabot Gladiators once more, forcing another punt here in the second quarter.
Yeah, Chabot, 3rd and 19. There's not many plays in the playbook that are designed to pick up that many yards. They try to just get a playmaker the ball in open space and let him do his thing, but DVC did a really good job. Play him back, keep everything in front, and then attack the football once it's completed.
That's a high winding punt. This one going very high but not getting much yardage before taking a sideways bounce right out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Not the best punt by Hawkener this time, and the Vikings are going to get a terrific starting field position with 3:03 remaining, starting out at their own 43.
So the defense steps up big, able to give the DVC offense, great field position, starting at their own 43, it looks like. And, you know, with 3 minutes remaining, you still have a lot of your playbook available to you right now. You might have to speed up the tempo a little bit, but the run's still definitely in play where DVC has to, you know, respect the option.
And we saw the perfect two-minute offense from the Vikings last time against Shasta. Let's see if they can pull something out of the books again. And this time will be a quick hitter out to the 49-yard line, and a catch made by Elijah Alonso. A pass of 7 on the play before Brooks Daniels, the linebacker, makes the tackle.
So DVC's, you know, not in a rush, but getting the play call in early. Probably going to be a quick play call in the huddle, gets to the line.
Yeah, and that's just a quick, good adjustment made by the offensive staff of the Vikings here, switching it up, trying not to go as deep, and just getting some more efficient plays called in here.
One-on-one coverage with Ely, single safety high. He's going to have one-on-one on the outside.
Belt high snap, or pardon me, chest high snap, and it'll be a go route down the seam, brought in at the 15-yard line. Brian Pierce Jr. Tight coverage on the play by Douglas Turner Jr., but the other junior, Brian Pierce, brings it in.
And a great job by Johnson right there, reading the defense. Pre-snap, they're showing that single high coverage. The one thing about single high, they're either going to be playing man everywhere or they're going to be playing cover 3. But, you know, the cornerbacks were up in press coverage. That's a big determination that, you know, they're playing man.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the slot receiver ran a little corner route, a fade corner route type concept right there. And when you're a single high safety, it's really hard to get over there. Unless you break right at the snap, there's no getting there, and that's what happened right there. Great completion by Johnson.
And with all the speed of the Vikings, it's very difficult to cover man-to-man across the board. Now it looks like a miscommunication from Chabot there as two defensive backs are talking to one another, and the ball goes back over to Brian Pierce Jr. as he gets the ball in the fly sweep. Pierce Jr. brings the ball out to the 11-yard line, and a gain of 5 on the play will make it 2nd down and about 5 as Brooks Daniels makes the tackle once more. And that would have been a situation that Jerry Johnson might have been able to take advantage of, because 2 of the defensive backs didn't know what was going on. He was yelling to his team, hands on his head, saying, hey, what do I got? What do I got?
Yeah, but sometimes it's hard to check right away.
Yeah, that's true.
And by the time you check, you might have that same thing happening to your team, like, what do I got? What do I got? So played it safe, let everybody get settled down. They had the little fly sweep going right there. And
a gain of 4.
Yep.
Shotgun spread with Gavin Cribb in the backfield this time out. Johnson gets the ball, rolls out to his left, eyes are downfield, throws it in stride, caught at the 5-yard line, and Damani Burrell dropped down in the last attempt, but that's enough yardage to get the first down. A 7-yard reception on the play, and a timeout taken by the Vikings with 49 seconds on the board. Vikings had to burn out a timeout early in the game to avoid a delay of game, and so now it is a timeout by DVC, and we'll take the timeout alongside with them back in about 30 seconds here on DVC Vikings Live. Third and 1 here, and the Vikings trying to get the first score of the second quarter after a huge plethora of points were scored in the first quarter of play. So the ball will officially actually be brought down. It looked like the knee touchdown at the 11, so it'll be 3rd down and 1 here, and Cribb will be out in the shotgun. A quick pass, front of the end zone. He was interfered with, but it did not matter. A touchdown for the Vikings. Mikel Ely for the 2nd time this evening. Mr. Magic on 3rd down finds the end zone, and the Vikings score 20-14. 50 seconds remaining in the second quarter of play.
Again, when you're 6'3", 200, you run that slant route against a smaller cornerback. Even though the cornerback got there early because the quarterback had a double hitch right there. It didn't matter. He's so big, strong, and physical, still able to haul it in, touchdown DVC.
Offensive Player of the Year runner-up last year in the 3C2A, as Zane Hall's able to split the uprights, crossing the T on the PAT, and the Vikings get the first score and likely the only score of the second quarter here on this freaky Friday the 13th. 21-14 our score with 50.1 seconds remaining. At the end of the drive, DVC 5 plays, 2 minutes 12 seconds, running the 2-minute drill perfectly, cap it off 57 yards later with that 6-yard passing touchdown from Jerry Johnson to Mikael Ely. 2 interceptions and 2 touchdowns. Tell me about Johnson's play throughout essentially this first 2 quarters of play.
Yeah, no, he's looked good at times. He's really done a good job with the shorter throws and the shorter route concepts. DVCs like to utilize the big side of the field when they're on, one of the hashes, running those trips concepts, running outs. They've also run a good amount of little bubble springs because they are faster than Chabot's linebackers at the slot position. So they've been able to utilize it. He's been hit and miss on those long throws, but when they hit, they've been going for big plays. So when the time comes and it's a good idea, I like DVC continuing to take their chances to push the ball down the field.
Kicking it right to left will be Zane Hall. Deep to return it, Higgins and Shackelford. The ball will be fielded down at the 4-yard line, taking it down the near hash mark, the far hash mark. A starter step at the 20 before the cavalry comes for the Vikings, making the tackle down at the 21-yard line. A return of just about 15 yards on the play. And the ball spotted down with 43.5 seconds remaining at the 21.
See what defense DVC decides to play here. They've been getting really good pressure with that zero-look coverage, but with 43 seconds left, I think, you
got to play low coverage.
Yeah, play that 2 safety high look.
And that's
still
exactly what they're doing
across the board, but make sure you keep everything in front of you.
Smiley and Henry, the 2 safeties over the top. Vikings showing a 4-man front here. A spread pistol look for Furia. Furia, a handoff off the left side, and just not much running there. Cameron Sleesmore, the freshman out of Wood High School, makes the tackle for the Vikes, and a timeout is taken by Chabot.
Injury.
Oh, pardon me, it's an injury timeout, and it looks like a man in white. So with 34.6 seconds, we'll take the timeout alongside with them here on DVC Vikings Live. Presented by Tannahill Home Team by Compas DRE number 020-14309. Kyle, I appreciate the heck out of you tonight. I'm sorry that our production went into, I don't even know how to say this politely. It went to hell. And so I still appreciate what you're doing tonight. And, man, you've done a terrific job here on running some color for us tonight. So quick timeout back on the other side of the break here on DVC Vikings Live. Back here after the injury timeout. 24 seconds remaining here for Furia and the Chabot Gladiators. Gladiators just doing a terrific job in this early going. 2 very large plays by Higgins alongside Cote. And I expect them to just hand the ball off a couple times and taking the halftime break down by 7. Pump fake, and it will be a draw left-hand side. A jump cut made at the 35-yard line. It's the 25-yard line. And a tackle after a gain of just about 5 on the play as Nico Bowler, we've called his name a lot tonight, continues to come out here. Furia running towards the far sideline with 2 seconds left, and then will bring us to a halftime break.
Yeah, the rest of the offense was ready to get one last snap in, and Furia said, let's go to halftime and talk about this one. Down 7. DVC should get the ball back or get the ball in the second half to start
Yeah, they deferred on the opening snap, so that we'll bring it back. And so let's talk about some of the action. You missed quite a lot of the action, unfortunately, due to our technical difficulties here on this Friday the 13th. So the play that you missed in the beginning of the game as we were getting everything up and running, Marcus Nunes came forward after an interception, a 29-yard interception return for a touchdown, and Zane Hall was able to cross the T on the PAT to give the Vikings a 7-0 lead. Just about 3 minutes later, Manny Higgins, after a 3-play drive worth 83 yards, came forward for a 62-yard pass from Colby Feria, and he absolutely burnt the Vikings defense as he ran that post, got all the way downfield, and showed his 4.45 speed to the T right there. The Vikings able to answer in their own regard as they had a 3-yard play worth 20 yards after a turnover from Feria. That was an interception from him, if I'm not mistaken. And Mikael Ely on 3rd down was able to get a 12-yard passing touchdown after a penalty to get the Vikings' second score and their first score on offense of the game. Cote on the very next drive, 6-minute mark of the first quarter, 74 yards later, went to the house, a house call for the backup running back, and a 4-play, 85-yard drive worth 2 minutes and 3 seconds off the clock. Capped off first scoring for the time being until the very end of the second quarter. A hard-fought affair on both sides, both the defenses finding their groove, finding a way to get a stop and finding a way to force some punts. But at the very end of the quarter, the Vikings, with about 3 minutes left on the clock, executed a perfect 2-minute offense. They were able to get down the field, 5 plays, 57 yards, and guess who it is? Mr. Magic on third down once more. Mikael Ely, the Hawaii bounce back, 6-yard pass. I mean, just a terrific grab. The defensive back bumped him before the play, but it didn't matter as he was able to snag that ball in for the touchdown. So that brings us to our halftime score of 21-14. We'll be back on the other side. Remaining here, and we'll take the break as well here on DVC Vikings Live. About 25 seconds remaining here at the halftime break, and the Vikings will get the ball first. They won the toss at the beginning of the game. They deferred, and then they ended up actually getting an interception on the very first drive of the game as Marcus Nunes got the interception for 29 yards and the touchdown. The ensuing drive after that, Chabot was able to get a huge breaking ball to their star receiver, Manny Higgins. It was a 62-yard pass from Feria to him, and that made it a 7-7 game. Mikel Ely answered on the other side for the Vikings as he caught a 12-yard slant pass into the end zone for a touchdown on 3rd down and long. And then Josiah Cotty, right after that, 74 yards on the draw play. He went to the house, tying it up at 14 until the final minute of the second quarter of play, I should say, where Mikel Ely, after a great 2-minute drive directed by Jerry Johnson, it was a 6-yard pass on 3rd down, once more 3rd down and goal, and Ely was able to get his 2nd touchdown of the day. 2 interceptions for Johnson alongside 2 touchdowns, 15 for 24, 134 yards, and for Feria, 7 for 14, 77 yards, 1 interception, and that pick 6. So the Vikings coming out white helmets, green jersey, green pants with the white trim will be returning it left to right, and on the other side of the ball, the Gladiators come out with their black helmets, white jerseys, black pants with the white trim, or pardon me, with the Gladiator gold trim, kicking it off right to left.
Yeah, one thing about start of the second half right here, this game was a tied ball game with 4 minutes left to go in the second quarter. DVC gets that touchdown late, now gets the ball back, has an opportunity to go up 14 really early here in the second half and kind of get a stronghold in this game.
So I can't get a number on the kicker, but I do not believe it's actually Ian Hawkener, the typical kicker. Instead, it's number 32 booting it away, and it'll be fielded down at the 14-yard line. Returning it up between the hash marks, cutting it out to the 30, spins out of 1 tackle, and that's Hurts breaking another. He continues to fight forward, and he gets it out to the 30-yard line. Hurts earlier in the game brought it all the way down to the 20-yard line, and that set up the first Vikings score of the day. So Hurts with another nice return of 20 yards. And the Vikings will get it from the 30-yard line. And the kicker this time around was Elliot Lockenmeyer, the linebacker from Arroyo, kicking it off this time. So the special teams, just a difficult situation with the injury to Donovan Umeki.
Yeah, but I like Hurts' return. They always talk about Isaiah Pacheco running angry at the ground. That's kind of reminds me of how Hurts runs as well. He just runs angry at the ground, takes contact on whenever he can, starts DVC off at their own 30.
So Johnson from between the hash marks coming out, and it's a handoff up the middle and only a gain of 2 on the play. That's one thing I want to see the Vikings do more of, some straight ahead running and trying to get something going on this defense that has struggled this year stopping the ball.
Yeah, Chabot's D tackles have played well, though, clogging up that middle. That's why DVC continues to try to get the ball out to the perimeter. But like you said, Max, I like the thought of getting downhill running started early here in the second half. Set the tone early, try to get some momentum, and try to stick to that playbook as much as possible, continuing to getting good 3rd down situations or 2nd and shorts.
Trips out to the far-hand side. Out of the shotgun once more is Johnson. Johnson calling for the ball, gets the chest high snap, fakes the play action, fake, tosses it out to the forehand side, and then a stutter step trying to fight forward for as much yardage as possible. The Chabot defense was right there after the catch was made, and Alejandro Tovar, coming from his defensive tackle position, makes the tackle.
And this is where Chabot really wants to have this offense at. Make Johnson a pure passer, make him throw the ball in longer situations where he doesn't have those short little screen options and things like that. He's going to have to read the defense, go through his progressions, and coming up on this 3rd and 6, pick up a good 1st down.
3rd down and 6, like you said. We've had some technical difficulties so far today. We'll try to fix it up at the next timeout here. And Johnson takes the head-high snap on 3rd down. Pressure comes in his face, and he lets the ball go. It's a deep route down the middle of the field, thrown into double coverage as he tried to get the ball over to Mikel Ely. The single high safety was over the top. That was LJ Majerez that time around. And an incomplete pass will be a 3-and-out for the Vikings here, only able to move it forward for a gain of 4 on that drive, pinging away now.
And that's where those inconsistencies really shown for Johnson, that deep ball. He's been able to connect on a couple, but he goes through a little bit of stretch here and there of typically overthrowing the football. But on 3rd and 6, you got to take a shot right there. Special teams needs to come up big and try to pin him back as far as possible.
Zane Hall ready to boot this one away. It's a low snap, handled well, and it's an end-over-end kick. It's a low one that's fielded down at the 30-yard line. And as they switch the sides of the field, I'll let Cal handle it real quick.
So Max is off trying to get some technical difficulties. Chabot's going to start with the football at their own 30-yard line, it looks like, after a really nice 40-yard punt by DVC. So Chabot defense able to stop DVC and, trying to get that 14-point advantage early after, being tied and getting the ball back at half. Chabot comes out, spread formation, 2 wide receivers on each side. Handoff up the middle, delay. 6-yard gain. Chabot gets back up to the line quickly. Getting the play call in from the sideline. Still looks like they're in the spread formation, 2 wide receivers on each side. They run an interesting pistol formation too. It's not a true pistol. Oh, here we go. They're back in a standard shotgun formation here. Run another delay. DVC D tackle number 57. That's Kristen Evans, able to get into the backfield early. Good 2 to 3 yard stop. Looks like it's going to be 3rd and 7 from Chabot's own 37-yard line. Sorry, 32-yard line. So here we go. Just like DVC had a long 3rd down conversion, DVC's defense looks like they might be in 0 coverage here. 1 safety high. See if they try to bring that nickelback blitz again like they were in the first half. DVC's defense is audibling. Looks like they're going to go cover 2. Man across the board. Snap, pressure up the middle. Dumped off to the running back, and a really good job by DVC's Marcus Nunez, the linebacker. Sees the dump off early, able to close in, makes the tackle for minimal gain. 4th and 5 for Chabot. Special teams is going on the field. So Chabot sets up for the punt. Good snap. Good hang time on it. We have a fire call. Hits one of Chabot's players' foot. Offenses struggle 2, 3 and outs to start the second half. And DVC is back out on for their second possession.
All right, so the technical difficulties have been solved. Sorry for that. Friday the 13th, we've having a ton of problems each way. So the Vikings have a 21-14 lead with 11-11 remaining here. It's a handoff over the left-hand side. And just met at the line of scrimmage before being tackled down. That was like Kenneth Atkins, the second, who fumbles the ball at the end of the carry. And the way that the Chabot is celebrating, it looks like it might be Chabot ball. So one official on the near-hand side, the lines judge, will actually mark it down a second down, though. So the first carry for Kenneth Atkins to the second, the sophomore out of Ann Arbor, Michigan. It will be only a gain of 2 or so on the play. And no fumble, or if they did fumble, the Vikings were able to get on top of it at least.
And Max, you deserve your flowers, because talking that much is a lot harder than it sounds like.
You did a great job, I'm sure. I'm just trying to make this thing happen right now. A handoff. Nope, it's a play-action fake. Jerry Johnson, pressure screaming up in his face, and he throws it off his back hip, caught at the 45-yard line, out to the 40. And a terrific job by Yannick Berg on the play before being tackled down by Chris Shackelford. Yannick Berg ran the route all the way across the formation, and he got about 10 yards out the initial reception to move the ball all the way into the Chabot Gladiators side of the field. The ball spotted down at the 40 of the Gladiators from the near hash.
Yeah, and Johnson did a really good job putting a little hezzy on the D end right there, able to stop his feet, get back outside of him, and then find the crossing route deep down the field and get that first down and a big yak at the end of it.
And please let us know if there are any other technical difficulties, and we'll try to get it fixed as soon as possible. For right now, the Vikings leading by 7, trying to get a score here in the second. Sean Davis handing it off on the stretch on the far-hand side, finally able to find the corner right on the sideline. And Sean Davis tiptoeing right along that far sideline, and he steps out of bounds after a gain of 4. Ball brought down at the 36.
Yeah, these DVC running backs are still trying to get to the perimeter on these kind of stretch-type plays. At least that's how the offensive line is kind of stretching them. Try to get to that outside, get a seal on the edge right there. They were able to do it for a good first down gain. And like we talked about this whole game, sticking to the playbook.
Yeah, just don't put yourself in 3rd and long. Keep everything efficient as possible. A tight bunch off the near hand side from the far hash mark. Jared Johnson, head high snap. Johnson looking towards the far hand side, and it's Cribb who is he able to catch it? Yes.
Yep.
At the last possible second, he was able to bring it in. Ran the wheel rat out of the backfield, caught at the 30, and he's brought down at the 23. There's been a couple different times in that last game here at home against the Shasta Knights where Cribb had some wide open plays out of the backfield but was unable to catch it. So it's nice to see him able to get his hands on that ball. It looked like he was almost about to drop it at the last possible second, but Cribb gets another big first down for the Vikes as we've got a 21-14 game with the DVC Vikings leading with 8:47 remaining here in this third quarter of play. Vikings sprinting to the line here. They've only got 8 seconds left on the play clock as Johnson knows it and he's hurrying up to the ball. 5 seconds left. Gets the snap off. It's a handoff. Right side. Cribb bounces forward, and he gets out to about the 20-yard line before being tackled down. And that was Brooks Daniels, the linebacker, on the tackle once more. Vikings are in the red zone, but I want to see more out of Cribb. He had a lane for a few times this in this game and just isn't able to get to the second level and make a play.
No, but again, he's at least getting positive yards. We haven't seen anything get stuffed at the line of scrimmage in a while. They're still getting positive plays, getting into second and manageable where, you know, another 3-4 yard game puts you in 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3 territory, which is where you want to be with Johnson, especially with the way he's been throwing the short passes.
2nd down and 7. Johnson will throw the go route, and it looked like the wide receiver on the play and the defensive back just got a little tangled up. The closest man to the ball was the defensive back, Douglas Turner Jr., as I can't quite get a number. I believe that was Yannick Berg who just got his legs stripped up, and that's a good no call by the official.
Yeah, good no call. Berg and the defender just got their feet tangled. Unfortunately, Berg went down on that. But Johnson was able to put the ball out where if Berg didn't trip, he would be the only one to get it. So the ball falls harmlessly to the ground for 3rd and 7.
So it's 3rd down and 7, like you said, from the red zone at the 20-yard line. Vikings coming out in a 3 wide receiver look, tight bunch out to the short hand side of the field. A handoff, nope, it's a play action fake. Has a man wide open in the flat, and it's caught at the 20-yard line out to the 15. A jump and a dive down to the 10. Brian Pierce Jr. makes it happen. Gets about 10 yards on the play as Chris Strickland tackles him down, and the Vikings are set up 1st down and 10 from the 11, so they can still get a first down if they get to the 1-yard line, but this Vikings offense has found a way to get it done on 3rd down.
Yeah, Johnson does a really good job with that RPO play. He has the option to run it or give the ball off to the running back at first. He decides to keep it, then it turns into a little option for him out there, or he can pass it to somebody running a little crossing route, sees that he's open, dumps it off, and DVC gets a good first down.
DVC 5 for 10 on 3rd down so far in this game. And they'll see if they can make something happen on 1st down here. It's a tip ball, and it goes right into the hands of a DVC player after the tip on the ball. It was brought in at the end of the play by Deshaun Smith II, I believe. And I do not believe it will be a turnover here. Deshaun Smith got it off the deflection. The Vikings were trying to set up that screenplay, but the defensive line were keen to it.
Yeah, Eric Johnson, the defender for Chabot, did a really good job jumping that route. Unfortunately, he couldn't finish it with an interception, but the ball pops right up. DVC still had 2 eligible receivers right there, and I guess once the ball's tipped, anybody's eligible. So they didn't just have one guy catch it. They had 2, and Chabot tried to pull it away there at the end, but it's going to be 2nd down for DVC.
So I believe it's actually going to be 2nd down and goal. I thought the ball was spotted at the 11, but instead it's a 3-yard reception eventually at the end of the play by Deshaun Smith II. So the Vikings continue to run this bunch look here on the near-hand side. They must like the look out of it as they move Cribb over to the left hip. Fakes the handoff. It's another sprint and a throw off the back hip, and this time it goes over to Brian Pierce Jr. Pierce Jr. with his 7-yard touchdown, and the Vikings get the first score of the second half of play at the 6:13-minute mark of this third quarter. They lead 27-14 over the Gladiators of Chabot College.
Yeah, it looks like that DVC coaching staff went into the locker room at halftime, talked about it, and found something. They've gone to these RPO. That one looked like a pure play action pass, and getting those linebackers to sync up and then running crossing routes behind them and just trying to use their speed to outrun the cornerbacks.
The kick is up, and Zane Hall, a perfect 4 for 4, splits the T on the PAT, and the Vikings take a 14-point lead. The drive started at the DVC 34-yard line, and 9 plays, 5 minutes, 66 yards later, it's a 7-yard pass touchdown from Jerry Johnson and Brian Pierce Jr., and we'll take a quick break here on the DVC Viking Sports Network. Zane Hall to boot it away for the second time this half. I guess he handles punting duties, so he's booted away a few different times, but kicks it away on the kickoff for the second time this half. Oh, wait, no. Maybe this is the first, because the Vikings actually got the ball. Yeah, regardless, Friday the 13th, I'm just going to blame everything on this tonight.
It's all right, he punted too. It's the second time he's back out there. You're all good.
And he boots the ball away left to right. It's an end-over-end kick that will be returnable at the 11-yard line. Following defenders out to the 21-yard line. And a nice return by Chris Strickland on the play, bringing it out to the 25 as Anthony Henry, the safety on special teams, makes the tackle. Ball spotted down at the 25, and now some extracurricular activities on the field will result in a penalty. I don't know who this is going to be on, but it will likely be a personal foul on somebody. We'll get you that information as soon as possible. So it is on DVC, so a 15-yard penalty would push the ball all the way out to the 40-yard line. So it's as if it was a kick out of bounds at this point as the ball gets brought out to the 40. And some great starting field position for Furia and the Chabot Gladiators.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that was one of the cases. They always get the second man to retaliate. So Chabot, I think, got a little, hands-on at first, and DVC retaliated. And unfortunately, the second one's always who the ref sees, and it's going to be a great starting field position for Chabot.
It looks like it might be man-to-man coverage across the board for the Vikings as they send out a 3-man front here. And it's a shotgun look for Furia as he moves his running back out into the flats. Furia rolls out to his right. Eyes are still downfield, and he throws away at the last possible second. Some good blitzing off the edge. And I believe that was Nico Bowler from his linebacker position coming off the edge, getting the pressure. And so he'll get a quarterback hurry in his category, and it's 2nd down and 10. If you're just tuning in, it was a barn burner in the first 10 minutes of play as we had 28 straight points. But since then, the Vikings scored with a minute remaining in the end of the second quarter. And they got the first score of the game with about 6 minutes remaining here in this third quarter. Chabot trying to answer here with Furia. Shotgun spread for Furia from the near hash mark. It's the same motion. Cote into the flats. They'll look his way this time. Cote catches that up at the 38. Cote works the sideline. And Cote tackled down by Anthony Henry, the safety, after a gain of just about 5 on the play. So it'll be 3rd down and manageable, 3rd down and 5 from the Chabot 45.
Yeah, they were just playing man coverage across the board. The running back for Chabot leaked out just as really a dump-off option, and the middle linebacker for DVC just didn't follow. He thought it might have been a run, trying to read the quarterback's eyes, and the Chabot quarterback did a really good job just taking what's given to him.
Man across the board for the Vikings here. Another shotgun look for Furia as the fans start to chant defense. Furia standing tall, throws the hitch route, and a nice little jump cut move. He caught it down past the sticks with the hitch and then just did a stutter step, a jump, and a 1st down for Chabot as they bring it into DVC's side of the field at the 44.
Yeah, Chabot did a really good job right there. Carlo Franklin just found the soft spot in the zone coverage. One of the few times DVC's gone into his zone coverage, and he was able to recognize it early, sit down, and get a nice 1st down.
And let's see if that actually is Carlo Franklin, because he was supposed to be injured going into the game, and the ball off the fingertips of number 13, that's Keir Stewart. And are we not mistaken? Is that number 6 or is that number 8 for Chabot? I think that is number 6. So this is an interesting little fold here. The sophomore wide receiver, Carlo Franklin, I do not believe he played in the first half of play. He was told that he was injured going into this game because he was the #1 passing option for Eric Fannon's team, but now he's back, and like you said, he made a catch on that play. Got healthy during the timeout break as the out route is caught. Just about a 5-yard out route, and the ball is brought down at the 40-yard line. That was brought in by Kier Stewart.
Somehow people always feel a lot better coming out of the locker room. I don't know what goes on back there, but all of a sudden he's good to play.
Yeah, he was ruled out, and he didn't play in that first half, so I don't know what's going on, but I'm sure the Gladiators, especially after that explosive start to the game, are glad to have him back again. A swing out into the flats. That's Cote, and Cote tackled down near the, let's call it down at the 40, no, pardon me, that's actually the 36.5-yard line. So it's going to be 4th down and short, and Furia and the Gladiators will go for it at the 3:50 mark of the third quarter of play. Motioning Carlo Franklin across the formation, so it'll be trips out to the far-hand side. Plenty of time left on the play clock as Furia barks out the call at the line of scrimmage. Cote is off the left hip in the shotgun. Fans ringing their cowbells and getting loud here. Cote lines up alongside the right hip now. Takes the chest high snap, looks down the defense, tries to go back on the left-hand side, and Cote will run it. Pardon me, that's Furia who will run it. And Furia gets past the line to gain out to the 31-yard line before Dylan Leal was able to push him out of bounds. But that's a very nice play for a guy that's not necessarily a runner. He read the defense perfectly. No one was there and just used all of his athleticism to get out of bounds for the first down on 4th down.
Yeah, no, that was a really good read by him. He wasn't necessarily under pressure, but they run trips to the far side, had a single receiver on the near side run a slant. DVC's in man coverage, so it leaves the whole near side of the field wide open, able to pick up the first down on 4th.
Pistol look for Furia as he's going to motion his running back into the flat. No, instead, Vikings wanted a full start on the offensive line, but instead they'll reset the play. Furia continues to line up in this trips pistol look, and a look far-hand side. The ball's thrown late, and the ball's batted away at the last possible second. A terrific job by the defensive back on the play. Let's try to get a number, and that was number 4. That's Anthony Henry. The safety was lined up man-to-man coverage. Just punched the ball away at the last possible second as Franklin really ran a great route.
Yeah, and Chabot got lucky they didn't get called for the hold because the right tackle right there looked more like a bear hug sumo wrestler than a right tackle. So it's going to be 2nd and 10 again.
From the 31-yard line, working right to left, trips out to the right-hand side. Furia looking towards the right-hand side and just threw the ball into no man's land. There was 2 Vikings defenders right up in the area. It was Anthony Henry alongside Anthony Munoz, so the Anthonys get the stop on the play for the Vikings. And now from the 31, it will be 3rd down and long, 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, that was a my guy, no guy type of throw right there. Either my guy's going to make a fabulous catch and get there somehow, or that's going to be in no man's land, and we're just going to live this fight another day, see 3rd and 10.
It's 3rd down and 10 with 2:29 remaining here in the third quarter. Vikings with the 28-14 lead as they've scored 7 so far in the second half. And then a nice job finding the man in the wide open zone, breaks through 1 tackle and eventually is brought down at the 2-yard line. Tanner Smiley made the tackle on the play, wasn't able to get a number on the reception here. And I believe that was Kier Stewart setting them up at the 3-yard line. So hurrying up to the line. It's a shotgun look once again. A handoff. Nope, it's a quarterback keeper. Breaks 1 tackle and then 2 and 3, and he's in. Colby Furia was not written down as a runner going into this game, but 2 plays on this drive. Gets the first down on 4th down and short, and now 1st down and goal from the 3. A 3-yard rush for the sophomore quarterback out of St. Vincent de Paul.
Fury does a great job right there, splitting the defenders to start, and then hits the circle button with the spin move on the defender, able to get into the end zone, get Chabot back within a 1-possession game.
Snap is off, hold is down, kick is up. LJ Maharis, perfect on the evening as well. 3 for 3 on PATs, and we've got a 7-point game here. Chabot fighting back in the third quarter to make it a 7-point game. 28-21 our score with 2:02 remaining here in the third. Yeah, they've made some good reads at the halftime break. They struggled a little bit going on, but then the moment they sniffed a little bit of blood, it just seemed like Chabot was going for it.
No, absolutely. And DVC able to get that touchdown, first in the second half. But Chabot, they just keep chipping away. They've been down a couple times in this game, but have been able to respond every single time and able to cut this lead back to one possession with a full little more than a quarter left to play.
So David Johnson just ran to the locker room for the Vikings, and it looks like they were able to get his replacement on special teams as Jaden Price comes in. And now the kickoff right to left for the Gladiators. It's a low end-over-end kick that will skip and bounce into the 13-yard line. Picked up at the 25, and a nice move at the 30 before being tackled down by two different special teams players. And it looked like number 18 on the return for the Vikings. That is Damani Burrell. And he is hurt on the play. He's spinning around, and something got twisted up at the end of the pile. Burrell has had a good little showing after a drop pass early on in the game. Since then, he's been able to bring in a few deep balls and on what I believe might actually be his first return of the season, taken down on the play, and he is hurt. So with that, we'll take the timeout as well. The score is 28-21 as Chabot College has trails the Vikings by 7 here on this Friday the 13th. Back on the other side of the break on the DVC Viking Sports Network. Under 2 minutes to play here in the third quarter. It's a 28-21 point game as the Vikings lead the Chabot Gladiators by 7. Last time out, Chabot scored on 11 plays, 4:03 at the clock, 60 yards down the field, and they were able to cap it off with a 3-yard rush by the quarterback, Colby Furia. And now on the other side, let's see what Jerry Johnson's able to do after composing a scoring drive last time out. Johnson fires away down the far sideline, out of bounds. Brian Pierce Jr. running the deep out route. He was all the way caught up on that far sideline, just wasn't able to get that toe in time.
Yeah, no, he did his best trying to drag that foot. Unfortunately, he needed Ely's frame to be able to have long enough limbs to be able to keep a toe in and the hands out in the out of bounds area. Great catch, great effort, just unfortunately a little too far out of the boundary.
Just about a 6-inch height difference between the two receivers, and I think that makes a big deal. Half a foot goes a long way. So now Vikings lining up in a heavy set. Josh Peichel is off the right side, and he's going to motion left. Johnson, a handoff. That's Sean Davis, and Davis just tackled right at about the line of scrimmage, falls forward with the momentum. Only a gain of 1 on the play as Alejandro Tovar makes the tackle.
Yeah, Chabot's linebackers, even though they're in a nickel-type base coverage, have done a really good job stepping up against the run, getting off blocks, and like you said earlier, DVC hasn't been able to get really into that second level and make big explosive run plays. They've been getting hit near or just past the line of scrimmage, and it's really in part of the D tackles doing a good job eating up blocks and the linebacker filling in gaps.
So a tight bunch off the far-hand side as Sean Davis stays in the game. He'll line up behind Johnson. Fakes the handoff. It's another RPO situation, and Johnson pressure at the end of the play. Just shovel passes ahead over to Brian Pierce Jr. Pierce only able to get 1. No, they're going to call it right at the line of scrimmage as Andre Viernes, the linebacker, like we were talking about just a moment ago, was able to make the tackle on the play. I mean, just a good job by Johnson. He got caught up in the backfield, throws it up, sees a man open, and doesn't take the sack. So unfortunate for the Vikings, though. Pierce Jr. wasn't able to do much with the ball. And the Gladiators, after scoring, they get a 3-and-out.
Yeah, if Chabot scores here, they have all the momentum going into the fourth quarter. It's going to be big defensive stand right here for DVC to try to maintain this lead, slow the momentum down, get a deep breath, and kind of let your offense reset and see if they can get something going in the fourth.
Dougie Silva's snap is a little slow. Zane Hall fortunately able to get it away, and it's a sliding catch made at the 37-yard line. Hall just doing a great job getting that ball out as the pressure came right up into his grill. So with 11 seconds left in the third quarter of play, the Gladiators will likely have one more play on the drive.
Yeah, and that was a dangerous catch by the Chabot punt returner, coming in, sliding, making the catch simultaneously instead of just calling a fire call. Always dangerous, but it worked out.
Malachi Malay able to catch the 27-yard punt off the foot of Zane Hall. And now another great starting field position. Last time they scored, it started at the 40. This ball spotted down at the 38, working right to left.
You got busted coverage up top.
Furia rolling out to his right, trying to abuse that busted coverage, but instead he's tackled by Nico Bowler, and that might be intentional grounding as he was wrapped up completely, threw the ball away at the last possible second. I didn't see a man in that vicinity. The officials are talking about it now, and let's see if they call it. Yes, a late call, but that will be essentially a sack for Nico Bowler as the intentional grounding will be called on the play. Furia just chucked it up at the last possible second, but the sophomore linebacker out of Clayton Valley High School able to make the play for the Vikes.
Yeah, and the Vikings got a little lucky up at the top. They had a busted coverage. Nobody was really quite sure where they needed to be. Fortunately for them, the outside receiver for Chabot was running a hitch route, so saved right there instead of running a go route because there was nobody behind or nobody really knew what to do on that side. The defensive line did a great job getting pressure, and even though it's not going to be a sack in the stat book, it's essentially just as good with the loss of down that comes from the intentional grounding as well.
So with that, it brings us to the end of the third quarter play. Throw your fours up. Fourth quarter action coming up on the other side of the break as the Vikings have a 28-21 point lead here at Viking Stadium. Back on the other side on the DVC Viking Sports Network. So the chain gang trying to figure out where to set it up. They got a little confused. They thought it was second down and 10 after the intentional grounding, but we'll get the chains set up. The chains will eventually be brought out at the 39-yard line, and the ball will all be brought all the way back to, I think they're going to spot this at the 27. So it's going to be second down and 22 on the other side, starting this fourth quarter of action. 15 minutes left in this game, and it's been an exciting one here to open up Base 6 play for both of these teams looking to turn the page after a harsh preseason. Colby Furia, so far in the night, 13 for 24, 131 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. That pick 6 on the first drive. He's pressured, rolls out to his left, flips his hips at the last possible second, throws it, and it's caught right at the original line of scrimmage. Let's see. No catch on the play. Ian Hockender, the man who's been doing the punting duties tonight for Chabot College, tried to come in on his traditional spot as a wide receiver, but just wasn't quite able to get his feet down in bounds. Something alongside that Chabot sideline that these players aren't able to get down in.
Yeah, and that was just a really good job, both by the Chabot quarterback and also the wide receiver and the DB. It was just a good football play all around. DVC's defense just a tad better, ran out of real estate at the end, and did a good job getting that hand in there to not allow that foot to come down in time.
Cote is in the backfield. Furia takes a 3-step drop. Furia drops off the screen pass. Nope, it's just a dump-off pass over to his running back, Josiah Cote. Cote dropped after only again a half a yard. So the momentum will not continue with the Gladiators as the Vikings get off and they get a 3-and-out. A 3-and-out on one side and a 3-and-out on the other side. An impressive play for Nico Bowler, put Chabot College behind the chains, and now the punter Ian Hockender has to come out to boot it away once more.
And the next touchdown in this game is an important one because it's either going to put DVC up by 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter or it's going to give us a tie ball game. So whoever scores next is really going to have momentum to be able to try to pull this thing out.
The punt is a nice one. It's a high end-over-end punt, and just, I believe, about 40 yards later, it's a fake catch by Brian Pierce Jr. So let's give you a recap of some of the action that has gone forward after the 34-yard punt on the play from Ian Hawkender. So the Vikings got a pick six to start the game, and then Manny Higgins got a 62-yard pass. It was a go route down the field, tying it up at 7-7 apiece. Mikael Ely got a touchdown, then Cote had the long run of 74 yards before a couple of Viking scores. It was Ely with a 6-yard pass, and then Brian Pierce Jr. in the third quarter with a 7-yard TD. And the last score was at the 2:02 minute of the third quarter of play, as Furia had the 3-yard rushing touchdown for the score. The quarterback got it done for Chabot, cutting it down 21-28. And on the other side, Jerry Johnson will turn his hips. He's going to run to the right-hand side. Eyes are still downfield, and he's going to tuck it and run it from the 40-yard line. A little jump, a little stutter, and Jerry Johnson ran about 25 yards to try to get a 5-yard gain on the play, and he does so, getting 4 out to the 30. Pardon me, it's the 42 of the Vikings now.
Yeah, 25-yard run to get 4 officially, but DVC able to get that to 2nd and 6, and this is really when DVC has been able to move the ball downfield. It really, since the beginning of the first half, those big plays haven't quite really been there, at least consistently. So just picking up yards where they can.
And a handoff to Cribb. Cribb trying to show some patience, as I believe the Vikings tried to run the stretch to the left-hand side, but Cribb was met right at the line of scrimmage by Brooke Daniels, as he's had quite a night.
And again, those Chabot linebackers are doing a really good job just stepping up in the hole, and DVC is going to be stuck for a 3rd and 6 with a gain of 0 right there.
Brooks Daniels with the 7th tackle of the evening. After that one, the linebacker just making some nice plays as Elijah Alonso gets a breather with the substitution of the packages. Vikings come out, trips to the far-hand side now, and Jerry Johnson facing a 3rd down and 6 from the 42-yard line will motion his receiver behind the formation. That's Max Mendency. And the handoff goes to Cribb. Cribb finally able to find some space. Cribb right at the line again. And it looks like he gets there. Cribb using all of his momentum with this 5'10", 200-pound frame. Finally able to squeeze one through, worms his way through the defense, and gets the 1st down for the Vikings.
Yeah, and DVC got helped out. Even though it was a longer 3rd down, they kept the ball on the ground. Chabot wasn't really game planning for that. They were running a different type of defense. They didn't have their safeties closer to the line of scrimmage like they've been. They were actually bracketing Ely and had their attention more on that side of the field than the run play, and they were able to get a good gain for 1st down.
Trip to the near-hand side. Johnson out of the shotgun from the far hash mark. Takes the chest-high snap. Johnson pressured late. Johnson rolls out, throws it late, and it's intercepted once more. Brought in at the 44-yard line. Johnson threw that ball after all the pressure. A flag comes in at the end of the play. Eric Johnson just got to give me on the play.
Yeah, and those are the throws you just can't have. Johnson's been doing such a great job this entire game of extending the play. That time he got kind of caught he didn't really feel the pressure on the backside, and then once he did, it was kind of one of those Josh Allen smash all the buttons and pray for something good. Unfortunately, the ball just floated up in the air right to the defender.
And an unsportsmanlike on DVC to add insult to injury. Yep. So the interception, that's the 3rd of the evening for Jerry Johnson. He's had some moments of success, going 22 for 34 for 192 yards and 3 touchdowns. But on the other side of the coin, just some plays where you can't throw the ball there, still throws it and has to pay for it. So the ball will actually go against Chabot, so the ball will be bounced back 15 yards from the spot of the interception.
Yeah, and that's a big switch, because instead of
the ball in positive territory, it's at the 35. Instead of
Chabot having it at their 35, or sorry, DVC's 35, it's at their own 35. So defense needs to come up big here for DVC.
They forced a 3-and-out last time out. Let's see if they can do it again. Vikings have been preaching about trying to finish the game, playing all 4 quarters. Shotgun spread now for Furia. Belt high snap, looks, throws it quickly, breaks one tackle and continues to stay on his feet. That's Manny Higgins. Did it with the speed one time and now does it with the power. Manny Higgins brings it forward for 27 yards on the play as Kevin Jones, the defensive back, makes the tackle at the end of the play. It looked like 2 different Vikings players were there to try to make the tackle, but nobody wrapped up and Higgins squeezed through.
Yeah, well, DVC's been doing a great job keeping Manny Higgins quiet the entire game. We haven't really called his name since the first half. That time he was able to get a good catch and 1st down.
Yeah, just a quick route across the middle of the field. And it's a handoff this time around. That's Cote, and Cote, as a flag comes in at the end of the play, only goes forward for a gain of 2. Let's see what this penalty is going to be on. From the spot of the field we're seeing, it's probably going to be holding, right?
Yeah, typically that area on a run play is going to result in a hold.
So we'll see what the official officially calls at the end of the play. And no, it's a personal foul, face mask. So one 15-yard penalty on one side, and then they flip it on the other side. And so the ball will be marched all the way down inside of the 30-yard line, spotted down at the 28. Vikings only have the 7-point lead, and now momentum swinging the way of Chabot.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, the next score is a big one because either Chabot's going to be a tie game with less than 11 to go, or DVC is going to go up by 2 possessions. Right now, it's looking like Chabot has a good drive going, trying to get this into a tie ball game.
Trips look, Furia throws it short off the fingertips, and it's brought in a double clutch by Kier Stort as Kier Stort runs forward about 6 yards after the catch, brought down at the 15-yard line, tackled out of bounds by Dylan Leo, the safety, but that's plenty of yardage for a first down.
That was great ball placement right there by Furia. He threw it on the outside of the receiver and high, and even though the DB did a really good job trying to undercut the football, great throw, avoids an interception and probably a pick 6, and instead gets a first down.
13-yard reception on the play and a false start on the other side for Chabot. So penalties have been hurting the Vikings, but this time around, it will go against the Gladiators. Let's get a number on some of these penalties so far tonight. 7 penalties for 71 yards on the Vikings. And on the other side of the ball, it is 6 penalties for only 27 yards. And now, pardon me, that's 7 for 92 yards on Chabot. So Chabot so far in this drive, 3 plays, 35 yards. And they snap it now. Wide open along the far-hand side, and a nice open field tackle made by the Vikings there. It was Manny Higgins running that out route before Isaiah Newton, that's Jaden Price, the safety, able to make the open field tackle, making only a gain of 5. Or actually, I think that's a gain of 10 because of that penalty, right? So it's second down and 5 from the 10-yard line after that play.
And I like what Chabot's doing. Get the ball into their playmakers' hands quickly down here late.
Yeah.
Yep.
Motions the running back into the flat. The pressure comes, throws it, and it's batted away. This ball might be live. Nope, they call it dead on the play. That ball was almost a lateral, and if that was a lateral, it would have been a live ball on the field. The pressure got there for the Vikings. It looks like one of the offensive linemen shaking up on the play. That was the right tackle, Freddie Vasili, but it looks like he's able to stay in the game. He's actually playing left tackle today.
DVC brought the all-out blitz right there and really disrupted the timing of that because that was really just a simple screen route.
Very tight man-to-man coverage across the board. Furia reading the defense, and he's looking towards his far sideline for the call now from the far hash mark. Lining up out of the shotgun here. Cote is off his right hip, sidecar right. Furia, belt high snap. Furia throws it near hand side, over the top, and it's dropped. Isaiah Reed tried to come up and make the grab, but it's off his hands, and it's 4th down now for Chabot. It looks like the offense is staying on the field.
Furious ball placement this drive has been fantastic, and that was just another throw of where the ball placement was where only his receiver could catch it, but still in a relatively easy spot to catch it. Nothing had to be spectacular. Unfortunately, the receiver just wasn't able to bring it in on man coverage, ran a little fade to the back far corner.
And LJ Majerus comes out to kick his second field goal attempt of the year. The ball will be spotted down at the 10-yard line, so a 27-yard field goal attempt from the spot here. Snap is off, hold is down, kick is up. It's a low end-over-end kick that splits the uprights. First field goal of the game goes to Chabot College, but the Vikings defense able to hold inside of the red zone, and our score, 28 Vikings, 24 Chabot College. At this point, honestly, you can call it a win on either side. Chabot was able to drive down the field, get some momentum, but the Vikings were eventually able to get the stop and hold the lead to 4.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a win-win for both teams. Chabot's able to ride the momentum, count it as a positive drive. Points got on the board, and DVC's defense is able to say, hey, we were able to bend, but we didn't break at the end. We still have the lead. We're still up 4 here, getting later and later into the fourth quarter. We still have 9:31 to play, but it's a little easier to play offense with the lead than feeling that pressure of the other team getting the momentum back, having it be a tie game. So DVC's offense should still be able to play pretty loose, have the full playbook. let's see what they do offensively. If they stick to the short passes, that run game. If they were able to get that run game going a little more, you'd feel a little more confident. But trying to get a good push here and assert that run game to try to run this clock out.
Lockenmeyer kicks it off the hands of Austin Hertz as he retreats to the 5-yard line to pick it up. Now running down the 4 hash mark, finds the seam up to the 25-yard line, up to the 30, and Hertz, a diving attempt in the surge, brought down inside of the 35-yard line as 2 different flags comes in, and now it's a chippy fight to the forehand side. 3 different flags come in as the Vikings and the Gladiators, Nordic and, what is it, Roman? What are the Gladiators? Just a fight of history here on the field.
Yeah, Roman Gladiators. You haven't watched the movie?
Okay.
Yeah, you haven't watched the movie Gladiator? You're in the Coliseum.
There you go.
Got the tigers coming out the ground.
You remember that one show on History Channel back in the day? It was Deadliest Warrior.
I don't think I've watched History Channel a day in my life, Max. History wasn't my strong suit.
You'll tell me about the 13th quarterback in Raider history.
Return team. 15-yard penalty for the spot of the foul.
And so
After the
spot
play,
foul
unsportsmanlike conduct
on the Vikings and then 1 on the kicking team now.
The 52, first unsportsmanlike.
So the unsportsmanlike penalty should cancel each other out.
42.
So there's 42 called for Chabot. That was Lopati Stotler.
First penalty will be half the distance.
And so, despite the fact that it was 2 penalties, I believe it will back the Vikings up. I don't quite understand that.
To be honest, I don't know either.
Yeah, you would think the play happened after the.
They should offset.
Yeah, it should be offsetting. The only thing I can think of is one penalty happened on the play and the other one happened after the play. So I think, yeah, exactly. They're going to enforce both the penalties. They're just going to do it in a way where the personal foul counts. I think because it was a personal, they have to do it in this manner to log it into the official scorebook.
The umpire just wanted his steps on his Fitbit.
Or that. Take it whichever way you want, but regardless, the Vikings have the ball with a 4-point lead from the 29-yard line of their own side of the field. And now let's see what Jerry Johnson's able to do. He's bounced back every single time he's turned the ball over tonight. And let's see if he can find something going on this drive. First handoff goes to Cribb. Cribb just backpedaling his way after being corralled in by Yusuf Benchora. And then Cribb, I mean, he was caught right at the 30. It would have only been a gain of 1, but instead just showing the lower leg power, pushing his way forward, and able to get a gain of 4.
Yeah, but that's what we've been kind of talking about the whole game by Chabot. Their defensive tackles have done a great job staying stout, eating up blocks, and not letting that left guard, because when you're running that stretch play, you need that left guard to be able to get to that. Yeah. Exactly. Set the block with the center and then get up to the second level, but they're getting stopped with that D tackle, and then it's just a one-on-one with the linebacker in the hole every time, and the linebackers have been making the tackles.
Bunch of the near hand side from between the hash marks. It's a 2nd and 6 from the 33. Fakes the handoff over to Cribb, and it's a quick pass over to Brian Pierce Jr. Brian Pierce Jr. and another good open field tackle by Chabot. And I believe that was number 1, Yusuf Benchora, making the tackle for the 2nd consecutive play. It's 3rd down and 5 for the Vikings now. And Vikings really trying to steal some of the momentum back. It'd be a really big play if they can find somebody like Mikael Ely.
Yeah.
If anything, what I expect to actually see from Chabot is maybe a bracket on Ely, forcing them to go somewhere else.
I think Chabot might go single high, and if they do, a play call I'd really like for DVC right now is have the 2 receivers on one side and then run that wheel route with the wide receiver. With the running back. But it looks like they might do that same concept with trips here.
To the near hand side, and Johnson throws a quick hitch route, and it was just short. The ball went to Brian Pierce Jr. on the quick hitter completion, but the ball only went forward for a gain of 3 before a tackle was made by Yusuf Benchoa. Once again, man, this guy has been making every single play. And wow, look at this. Vikings from their own 37-yard line are going to go for it here. They're up 4, and it's 4th down and 2. And nope, late substitution here with 20 seconds left on the play clock as the Vikings will do the smart thing and send the punting unit out. We were talking to Coach Austin Crowley before the game, and he was just talking about how he wants to be so aggressive, but realistically, you need to take a second, take a deep breath, cool your jets, and do the right thing, and he did the right thing here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and it will be a fake. Over to the right-hand side, breaks free, and a lane out to the 50. Far sideline 40. Fumble on the play, the ball scooped up. The fake went to the linebacker, Marcus Nunes. He ran it forward, had a lane all the way to the far sideline. Fumbled at the end of the play, and it will be Chabot's ball.
Wow.
Effectively a 20-yard play for the Vikings here, and the Gladiators, man, they are taking every single little bit of momentum. A perfectly drawn up special teams play. Something to factor in as well. Jeff Hansen, the special teams coordinator from last year, came back during the offseason, or during the bye week. So he came back and drew up something perfect, but a flag comes in. It's brought down at about the Vikings' 45-yard line, so I think it might have maybe been an illegal formation or something. Let's see what the... Oh, a chop block. Of course it's going to be declined, though. And
I know I was thinking, especially when the offense stayed on that field that extra amount of time, and you could tell something was going through their mind, because that third down play, they didn't run none of the receivers ran a route that got past the first down marker. So you knew it was something on their mind. They come out, had a perfectly drawn up special teams play that broke for a huge gain, and the Gladiators special teams was able to track them down from behind, and really great strip tackle right there, and gets the Gladiators ball, which essentially just gave DVC a 20-yard punt.
Yeah, essentially a 20-yard net punt with a lot of extra window dressing. Jeff Hansen putting his fingerprints on the game in his first game back, was the special teams coach last year, a former teammate of mine. And now the Vikings need to get a stop on defense once again. Fury has been terrific in the second half of play, and he'll take a 3-step drop, throwing it across the field, and it's brought in once again by Stewart, as Stewart ran the crossing route across the formation and is brought down at the 42-yard line after a pickup of 5 on the play. Nico Bowler making the tackle for the Vikes.
Chabot starting to run that hurry-up offense more and more, and really trying to get the ball snapped as early as possible.
And the Vikings putting pressure on the line here. Fury out of the shotgun once more, looks to the far sideline, trying to get a call. Furia barks out the call to his team, and his running back Cote shifts off to the pistol offset on this right hit. From the far hash mark, Furia sends his running back into the flat. Furia eyes are still downfield, pointing, directing coverage. Pressure comes late, throws it, and it's intercepted on the near sideline. Furia threw a ball up, and Adrian Mache was right there to bring it in. Mache tiptoed the sideline, got both feet in bounds, and the Vikings steal a turnover at the 42.
Man, and I love that play right there by Mache. I wish we could bring it back up on replay, because when the quarterback started to roll back out of the pocket and the receiver went into the flat, he actually told his other defender to go up and guard him, and he broke back because he knew at some point when that receiver was going to run out of real estate, he was going to try to break it back up, and he was right there when he did. The throw was a little bit overthrown, and he was able to be right there for really more of a heads-up play than anything and get that big interception for DVC.
The sophomore out of North Portland, Oregon, comes up for the pick, and the Vikings steal some momentum back. They line up quickly, trips out to the far side. Johnson, a quick pass to the near side. That's Sean Davis out of the backfield, and Sean Davis brought down at the 45-yard line.
That was a play too late, Max. That was the exact route concept with the wheel from the
running back in the backfield, exactly. Vikings have been doing a good job getting their running backs involved in the passing game. Cribb with the big pass and a pickup of 15, and now the wheel route and a pickup of just about 15 himself, if I'm not mistaken. A 13-yard official pass on the play from Sean Davis, or to Sean Davis, rather, from Jerry Johnson. And yeah, we'll see a lot more of these concepts as the Vikings are really lining up in this tight trips, trying to really abuse some of the spacing on the far side of the field.
One-on-one.
Yeah, Mikel Ely one-on-one on the bottom of the screen. Pistol look for Johnson. It's a quick toss to the far-hand side. That's Sean Davis once more. Davis cuts it back on the far hash mark, and Davis with a diving attempt, worming, slivering, getting down to the 41. Gain of 4 on the play for the Vikes. Tackle was made by L.J. Maharis.
And that's what DVC would love to be able to do on this drive. Just consistently pick up 4 or 5 yards like they did on this last carry, setting up 2nd and 5. But more importantly, keep that clock ticking as time runs down. You're nursing that 4-point lead. Chabot, before that interception, looked like they had all the momentum in the world.
And then one interception later, Fury makes a bad play, and the Vikings are looking to capitalize on that turn of momentum. 4:45 counting down, the Vikings with the 4-point lead over the 0-5 Chabot Gladiators. Vikings trying to get their second win of the year, and Johnson out of the shotgun throws it quickly to the near hash mark. It's caught, breaks a tackle at the 30, continues to find the sideline before being pushed out of bounds at the 20. Deshaun Smith Jr., the Santa Rosa College transfer, comes up with another huge play on the play. On the day for the Vikings, a 21-yard reception.
Man, great job by Johnson right there, just going through his progressions, didn't rush anything, saw his receiver sit down on a little hitch route. And the receiver right there did a great job of once he got it, break the first contact, first attempt to tackle, and then be able to break it to the outside for a big gain.
4 minutes counting down here as the Vikings trying to get a score and trying to put this game away. It'll be a handoff over to Sean Davis, and Sean Davis scraping the ground, pushing the pile, turning forward, the rugby scrum, and the play goes down to the 15-yard line. That was one of the most exciting 6-yard plays I've ever seen. He almost looked like a defensive end scraping down, lowering the shoulder, getting past the line. And man, just a nice play and a nice drive by Sean Davis so far in this drive.
And that was one of the longer runs DVC's had in a while. It's just seemed like it's been between 3 to 5 yards every single time.
And that's 5, but that's a very nice 5.
Man, that's the longest 5 I've ever seen.
The longest yard of the longest 5 yards.
Yep.
Davis will stay in the game. Pikewood comes in at the tight end position now. He lines up off the right side, and they motion Pierce Jr. across formation as well. Chest high snap, sprints out to the right-hand side, and Johnson falling to the ground, tried to come back across the formation, going to his tight end Peichel, but instead a flag comes in, and that will likely be a roughing the passer.
Yeah, and the Chabot coach is mad, and maybe rightly so, because we didn't get that flag until Johnson gave a little bit of a closing statement to the referee, and he ended up agreeing and gets the roughing the passer call and automatic first down.
So this officiating crew comes out, and they call every game for the Vikings, but they actually come from Hawaii, so they travel a very long way. They do a couple games here, and they're going to go out to Santa Rosa next tomorrow night before going out to Louisville the weekend after. So, I mean, like, they got a feeling for the way DVC works. They either try to work a game over at Laney or work a game over at DVC. They travel a long way, and to be fair, they've been doing a pretty good job tonight. First down and goal from the 8-yard line. It's a handoff to the left. Sean Davis bounces back. Sean Davis dives! And he's brought half a yard short of the goal line. A 7.5-yard rush on the play. There you go. A longer gain in terms of the Vikings rushing game here. And the ball spotted down at the let's call it the half-yard line.
Yeah, I think the only thing the officials have really messed up on tonight is leaving Hawaii. Who leaves Hawaii in October? It's a lot chilly over here. I haven't looked at the Hawaiian forecast, but I can only assume.
You got to do it for the love of the game, right?
Absolutely.
Vikings lining up, trip to the near-hand side. Davis is in the backfield. It's a handoff over to Davis. Sprints to the near side, puts one foot in the ground, and breaks the play into the end zone for the touchdown. DVC 34-24. Flag came in at the end of the play. And the way it's looking right now, it will likely be a touchdown on the Vikings and then a flag after the play. Let's see as this officiating crew is continuing to deliberate from the near hash mark on the goal line.
Yeah, as we get later into this game and with time really coming close to an end here, the game continues to get chippier and
prior to the score. Illegal hands to the face. That's a huge penalty. It wipes off the touchdown for the Vikings, and I believe that was on number 54. I'm trying to see, so there is no score on the play, and number 54 is, it says it's Tyler Davis. I don't know if that's right. Tyler Davis is listed as a linebacker, so I think he was just maybe in there for a heavy set, or maybe, yeah, I'm not exactly sure who it's on actually, but a hands to the face will set the Vikings back. And no score, 28-24 with 2:10 remaining. So on a positive side, Vikings can run some more clock. On a negative side, oh, the penalty is actually against the defense here. So it will, they said second down. It's not gonna be second down, it's either touchdown or not. The penalty is declined, it is a touchdown. Half a yard on the rush. Sean Davis will get his 6 points, and the Vikings will extend their lead to 10. 24-34, the Vikings lead the Chabot Gladiators, trying to make it a 35-24 point game here.
Wow, that's a change.
So they almost got it wrong, and then they got it right.
Yeah, that's a big swing. You go from thinking you have a long
second
goal
down
situation to
snap is off, hold is down, kick is up. Zane Hall crosses the T on the PAT, and it is a 35-24 point game. A lot of emotions being shown on the field by both teams, and the Vikings get the better of it at the end of that play. We'll take a quick break before coming back for the kickoff on the other side. DVC Vikings Live brought to you by Tannahill Home Team by Compas DRE number 020-14309. Ready to kick it off right to left. The emotional turmoil on both sides at an all-time high. It's been a chippy, feisty game for the Gladiators and the Vikings. DVC with the 35-24 point lead here. And thank you for joining us tonight. We've had a lot of technical difficulties. Our broadcast computer ended up kicking the dirt, so we had to improvise, get it up running on a stream. We've had a lot of help from you guys in the audience, commenting, telling us what's going right, what's going wrong. We really appreciate you guys tonight, and appreciate you guys joining us on DVC Vikings Live, presented by Tannahill Home Team by Compas DRE number 020-14309. So it looked like we were just about ready to go, but then the officials ended up going and calling that one dead. No, the ball didn't fly off the tee or anything. And instead, no harm, no foul. Zane Hall taking his shot back. Line up, his heels will be placed down at the 26-yard line, kicking it right to left. He'll kick it away to Manny Higgins or Chris Shackelford. Those are the two-man deep. End-over-end kick, fielded down inside of the 10-yard line. Both the returners get there, and it's Shackelford who ends up getting the ball. Tries to fight out between the far hash mark and the far numbers, but the Vikings special teams were there to make the tackle. Ball's brought out for a 10-yard gain on the play, and that's exactly where Furia and the Chabot Gladiators offense will take it over. Last time around, Furia threw an interception to Adrian Marche, like you said, made a great play on the ball, just read the play perfectly, bounced his defender in front of him, able to read the play perfectly. And let's see if the Vikings, after getting that score, will continue to build the momentum with under 2 minutes, or just a little over 2 minutes, I should say, to play here. It's an 11-point game. Chabot College has their back against the wall, and the Vikings trying to close it out here in the fourth quarter. Lining up two high safeties here. Furia out of the shotgun. And a false start on the wide receiver on the near-hand side. I believe that will go against the sophomore Manny Higgins.
False start. Offense.
Yeah, Manny was just a little eager to get off the line there because Chabot knows that they need 2 scores and they need the first one quick. Because with only 2 minutes left, 2-possession ball game, they need to get that first touchdown quick to give them time to get the onside kick, and if they do, have enough time to score again. So it's a big task for a little amount of time here for Chabot.
15 seconds left on the play clock, and it'll be a first down and 15 now after the false start. Ball spotted down to the 15. Furia throwing the go route down the middle of the field. It's an underthrown ball, a jump ball, and they tried to get it to Manny Higgins, but instead it was Jelani Crane able to knock the ball down. He's hurt on the play, though. I believe, I'm not even going to speculate on what this injury is, but we'll take a timeout injury alongside with them here on DVC Vikings Live. So I don't know what the injury was, but I think it was a lower body injury. A great play made by Jelani Crane, but unfortunately an injury at the end of the play with under 2 minutes left to play. Furia out of the shotgun. He's going to roll it to his right, bounces back left, continues to keep the play alive. A pressured defensive lineman is right in front of him before eventually throwing it over to the far hand side. Amari Cormier from his defensive end position brought a ton of pressure, put it down as a QB hurry, and now it'll be 3rd down and 15. Third down and 15, the Vikings, after giving up the field goal, answered the call, ended up driving all the way down the field, scoring the touchdown. And now they're looking to close it out. Up 11 here. And Furia trying to answer the call. Throws the go route down the far side, has a step on his defender, but the safety came over the top late. No call on the play. Anthony Munoz was the man in coverage on the play as they tried to throw the go route over to Dylan Garcia the third. And now this will be the game. Yeah. 4th down and goal from the 15-yard line. 4th down and 15 from the 15-yard line.
Just like earlier in the game where the DVC wide receiver's legs got caught up, that's just what happened right there on the outside. And DVC knows that these receivers are trying to take the top off, and it's really hard to take the top off when the defense knows it's coming. So, you know, they're still playing tight press man-man at start, but they're not really trying to jam as much at the start and just opening their hips and running with the receivers and making it really hard for, you know, Chabot to try to push this ball down the field.
And Chabot had 3 timeouts in their pocket, and they'll take the last one on the biggest play of the game for them. Down 11. I mean, to be fair, though, Chabot has put in a heck of a game. They came out and they did, essentially, they turned back. They had a ton of injuries. They figured out what was going on. They dialed up some great defense. They scored 14 straight points on 2 quick, big hitters. And this Vikings defense is no slouch. Their defensive back unit ranked in the top 10 of the 3C2A. They've been passing it well. Fear has really shown to be a great quarterback. The 2-star recruit coming out of the high school, St. Vincent de Paul. It's looking good for them despite the fact that they're down 11.
Yeah, and Chabot's done a really good job for a team that averages negative rushing yards per game. They
got 132.
That's gonna. I think that should put them out of the negative column for the year. But in all seriousness, it's what's helped them be able to stay close in this game. It's given them a balanced attack on offense. They've been able to run consistently, getting 3 to 5 yards a carry. They had that big run in the first half and haven't really had big chunk play like that again. But they haven't been starting to get stuffed at the line anymore, and that's been able to give Fury a good amount of time in the pocket, and he's been able to make some good passes throughout the night.
Trips to the near hand side. Fury facing a 4th down and 15. Vikings bringing the pressure. Fury is stepping up in the pocket. Fury eyes are downfield, sets his feet, throws it down the middle of the field, swatted away! Jaden Price had the coverage on the play. They tried to throw one up to Ian Hockender, and Jaden Price calls game with the swat.
Yeah, that was a great play by Price right there. The wide receiver is a bigger wide receiver, and he was in position, but Price just went up over the top. Didn't get the PI call because he was playing the football, so the contact wasn't necessarily interference. Got to the ball first, knocked it straight to the ground. Good heads-up play. Doesn't try to make it a 50-50 ball, see who comes down with it. Just knocks the ball down open hand and says, we'll take the ball back up in plus territory at our own 15, and let's see what DVC does, whether they're aggressive here. I would expect 3 runs in a row.
Yeah.
They have 2 timeouts left, so that should put them down to about 40 seconds left-ish, even if they were to kick the field goal to go up 14.
And it will be a handoff right side over to Cribb. Cribb bounces off the initial tackler before being brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Tackled made by Callan Ivey, the defensive lineman.
Chabot doesn't call a timeout.
I think they folded up to this point, down 2 possessions, down 11 with the ball all the way down inside of their own territory.
Either that or they're going to call their next 2 timeouts after 2nd and 3rd. But that should bring us down to about 44 seconds, and then 2nd and 3rd after timeout. So, yeah, about 35 seconds probably once it's all said and done. But it's still going to be at least a 2-possession game.
Another handoff to Cribb, and Cribb just not much room here. He actually loses half a yard on the play. Sean Davis, the leading rusher in the game for the Vikings, 7 carries for 26 yards, 1 touchdown. Marcus Nunes comes up second on the fake punt play as he brought the ball forward 26 yards. He's tied with the leading rusher off that fake punt. And the clock will continue to run down as Chabot will not call a timeout. And the Vikings will have to snap the ball one more time. But, getting back to some of these stats, Jerry Johnson, 1 more rushing yard than Gavin Cribb to this point right now, as the Vikings will eventually just take a knee right here. This will actually drop Jerry Johnson's yards back down. So Johnson will lose a yard on the play, and he'll be tied with Gavin Cribb with 22 rushing yards in the game. So funny enough how that works out.
That's when you need to bring the backup quarterback in for the last play.
The backup quarterback's hurt. You would have to bring in the emergency quarterback in that situation.
That's okay. Maybe get an extra yard on your running back and send him under center.
There you go. So the final score, 35-24, as the Vikings take down the Gladiators of Chabot College, and they get the win here at home to open up Bay 6 play. 1-0. The Vikings advance to 2-4 on the year. Chabot, despite the heartfelt effort, dropped to 0-6. So let's give you a rundown of the action that went down on the play, and then give you some team and individual stats. Marcus Nunez got the game started. We were having some technical difficulties, so unfortunately we weren't able to get you that call, but Marcus Nunez just a terrific job reading the eyes of the quarterback, got a 29-yard pick six, and Furia, I mean, he's made a few mistakes, but that was really the only super bad mistake on the evening. From there, Manny Higgins came back and answered the call for the Gladiators. A 62-yard post route down the middle of the field showed off all of that 4.45 40 speed as they cleared out the defense, getting the game tied up at 7 apiece. From there, the Vikings got a huge kick return from Austin Hurts, setting them up inside of their own, or inside of the red zone. And Mikel Ely capped it off with a 12-yard passing touchdown on third down. That was Ely's first of the day. From there, another huge run. Josiah Cotty, 74 yards. He just ripped a draw play straight down the middle, broke through the defense of the Vikings as they were running zero man-to-man coverage across the board, and he ran all the way into the end zone, 14 apiece. Two back-to-back scores. Mikel Ely, a 6-yard passing touchdown, his second of the day, and then Brian Pierce Jr. in the third quarter got a 7-yard passing touchdown to make it 28-14. The momentum started to go back the way. Theory had a 3-yard run after an 11-play, 60-yard drive, and then a play where the Vikings, honestly, you can count them off as a win there. Chabot got the ball. They drove all the way down the field, and the Vikings forced a 27-yard field goal attempt by Maharis as he nailed the 27-yard field goal to make it 28-24 after a 7-play, 45-yard drive. And then finally, Sean Davis just said, hey, give me this one. A lot of drama on the field, but Sean Davis able to rush forward for a 1-yard gain on the touchdown. And then finally, the batted away pass, the go route on 4th and 15, and Jaden Pizzle Price, the sophomore out of Brentwood and Heritage High School, called game for the Vikes as they put this one away 35-24. The Vikings did a great job on third down today in comparison to the norm. They were 50% or over for the majority of the day, end up 6 for 14 on the day compared to the 4 of 13 from Chabot College. The Vikings ended up getting 15 first downs. This is kind of surprising. 10 first downs passing, but 4 first downs rushing. I really don't remember too many of those because the Vikings still continue to struggle rushing the ball in this game. The Vikings had 68 total plays for 342 yards total on the play, and they end up passing for 230 yards and rushing for 112 yards on the day. Some individual stats here. Jerry Johnson finishes the night up and down once again. 26 for 39, 230 yards, 3 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. Just the ups and the downs of Jerry Johnson. Sometimes he looks great. Sometimes he looks in full composure. And other times he just throws the ball in a spot where I just don't really understand. I'm sure he sees something, but from up here you get a whole different vantage point. Leading rusher for the Vikings was Sean Davis, 7 rushes, 26 yards, and a touchdown. Brian Pierce Jr. led the charge in the receiving game. 9 receptions for the bounce back from UC Davis, 73 yards a tug, and the Mikel Ely led in terms of touchdown categories. 4 receptions for 45 yards and 2 touchdowns. And on the other side of the ball, Colby Feria ends the night 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 18 for 37, 169. But honestly, the stat sheet does not do him justice. Feria played a heck of a game overall, and he should be proud of the performance that he put on the field tonight. Josiah Cotty on that one really large run of 74 yards. He ends up being the leading rusher for both sides with 112 yards. But aside from that, the Vikings did a pretty good job holding the defense. Fury ended up being a negative yardage with -9, got that 1 rushing touchdown on the goal line. Carpenter came in, the Berkeley High native, my alma mater, ends up going 6 for 20. A lot of those were in the early going, and then Cote ended up coming back in and doing his thing. Manny Higgins, the leading receiver, 5 receptions for 82 yards. About 60 of those went on that one play, so a good job by the defense, showing off why they're such a good defensive backfield unit. And the Vikings, for the 6th consecutive game, hold a quarterback to under 200 yards passing, so they're still on track in that category. And then on defense, Eric Johnson ends up, let me readjust that. Yusuf Bochora ends up getting the leading tackles of the night for the Chabot Gladiators, ended up with 8 total tackles, 8 assists, and 11 totals. And then in terms of interceptions, Eric Johnson had 2 interceptions, and Justice Breston had 1 interception. And for the Vikings on the other side, Anthony Henry, 7 total tackles on the day. He had 5 solo and 2 assists. But really, Nico Bowler was the guy who made things happen. The outside linebacker came up. He had a lot of pressures. He ended up with 6 total pressures on the day. He got 1 sack, but really it was 2 because one of those was an intentional grounding. Anthony Henry had a sack alongside Christian Evans as well. And in terms of the passing game, Marcus Nunes, an interception. Adrian Mache, an interception. And then finally, Jaden Price, 2 pass breakups, but one of them was for the game. And that brings us to a close. Woo! Friday the 13th, we had a ton of issues left and right, a crash of our stream computer. We had to switch it up to the phone. We were having issues here and there, but thank you guys for joining us. We got 2 weeks off as DVC goes and faces, the gauntlet of what the basics is. CSM next week, City College of San Francisco the next week, and they'll come back to face Laney College on, let me get you the date of that game. They will face Laney College on November 3rd, and that's when we'll be back here. It's a 7 p.m. kickoff. And then finally, sophomore night against San Joaquin Delta on Friday, November 10th. That will be another 7 o'clock kickoff. So thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a hectic Friday the 13th, but I'm happy we were able to get through the game. For camera operator Ryan Schell, or spotter Azane Massey, my color commentator, good friend, Kyle Tannahill, giving you the reads all across the board today. And thank you to our sponsor. Unfortunately, we couldn't get you some more love on the screen, but we're going to shout you out as much as possible. The Tannahill's Home Team sponsoring the DVC Vikings team by Compas DRE number 020-14309. Love you guys so much. We'll give you some more love next time around because you absolutely deserve it. My name's Max Agres. Thank you for joining us on the DVC Vikings Sports Network. Once again, our final score, 35-24. Vikings get their first win of basics play, and they advance to 1-0 before facing the gauntlet.